Welcome to the Kinnikuman lecture!
Hey!
Yeah! Yeah, alright, yeah! Woo! Go! Muscle!
Yeah!
What is Kinnikuman? Alright, so, what is Kinnikuman? Kinnikuman is a manga written by a comedy duo known as Yude Tamago. We'll get into bios for them real soon, but as for the series itself, it is a series that started out as a parody of the superhero genre. Specifically, they parody a lot of comic books, like especially Western comic books, and Kinnikuman himself is a parody of the character Ultraman. He has like the same like head fin sort of deal. But he's goofy, he's bad at his job, and it ran in Shonen Jump from 1979 to 1987, spanning 36 volumes. Mm-hmm. The focus is on a race of superhumans, just a second, a race of superhumans known as Choujin, who are in universe said to be like a separate race from humans. So, what was your question?
Is the Choujin Superman the same as Nietzsche's Übermensch?
No.
Oh, disappointing.
No, that would be, I don't know, maybe the man is kind of like, I don't know, the perfect Choujin kind of have that kind of stuff going on, but that's way later in the series.
Yeah, for now they're more like Superman Kryptonians.
He's very, yeah.
I love that he's got a whole planet with his face on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, it is his planet. It's planet Kinniku. So, in the beginning, it actually started not as the wrestling series that it's known as, but rather as a parody of the superhero genre. And early on, there are a lot of references to various stuff, which I'll get to when I talk about those arcs. But eventually, and what the series is most known for, is that very soon, I won't say very soon, there are like a solid 3 full volumes of just the superhero gag stuff. But then it starts being about like superhero pro wrestling, and that's when the series really hits its stride, and that's what it's really known for. That's the meat and potatoes of Kinnikuman. So now that we know what Kinnikuman is, let's learn about the guys behind it. Yude Tamago. Yude Tamago means boiled egg, and there was actually like a blurb on one of the Nisei volumes that like actually says they kind of forgot why they called themselves Yude Tamago. Because they both
too deep.
They have the similar story of like they were in high school writing their entry to this contest that they won to get Kinnikuman serialized, and they just needed a name. And the two stories that each of them give was one of them said that they were eating boiled eggs at the time, so they just went with Yude Tamago. And the other one says someone farted and it smelled like a rotten egg, so they went with Yude Tamago.
They're like the real life equivalent of Treehouse Comics from Captain Underpants.
They really are. Like these guys, like characters like Kinnikuman, these guys were drawing these characters like in their notebooks in high school.
Man, okay.
And then they went to the same school since the 4th grade, and they were just like drawing all these like superhero parodies that they just thought was like funny haha jokes. But they actually got like decently good at drawing. And so they entered into something called the Akatsuka Award, which is just like fans submit just their own comics to see if they can win an award. And Kinnikuman actually won the Akatsuka Award. And because of that, this other guy, he's the man who made the magic happen, Shigeo Nishimura. I will forget his name from here on out, and you'll never hear his name again, but he's the man who made Kinnikuman happen because he saw what they submitted to the Akatsuka Award, and he just straight up went to like their parents and said, hey, we want to hire these guys straight out of high school. We're paying for their apartment. We're giving them jobs immediately. And they were able to just immediately, right out of high school, just full-time start working, drawing Kinnikuman.
Shove it, Dad. I can make money as an artist.
Yeah, exactly. Like, literally, like, the stories they doodle in their notebooks as a kid became their livelihood.
Believe in your dreams, kids.
It's actually very similar to Oda in One Piece, because he was drawing that stuff, like, in high school, too.
Oh.
And there's more than a few similarities there.
Yeah.
So, the thing is that, like, there's a lot of fan-submitted Choujin in Kinnikuman, where, like, people who, like, read it as a kid can, like, draw their own designs and send it in. If they like the designs, they'll, like, get in, like, either as a cameo or maybe even as, like, a main character. Mm-hmm. And one of the characters submitted in these art contests was a character called Panda Man, submitted by Eiichiro Oda, the guy who would go on to write One Piece. Even better than that, in One Piece, there is a similar fan art submission thing called Usopp's Pirate Gallery. And one of the people who submitted art to that went on to become the guy who did My Hero Academia.
Oh, wow.
So there's a lineage there from Kinnikuman to One Piece to My Hero Academia, and that is so cool.
That is really cool.
So who are these guys? Well, we have Yoshinori Nakai. He's the artist. He mostly keeps to himself. Basically, he doesn't have a huge public image. He really just kind of draws Kinnikuman. Mm-hmm. Worth noting, though, is that his son is an actual, in real life, pro wrestler.
Hell yeah!
The OG Kinnikuman.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what his actual wrestling persona is. If you look up this guy's name, I'm sure you can find his son's name and what he does. And then the other half of the duo is Takashi Shimada, who is the writer. He writes all the stories, and whenever you have whenever they do public appearances or interviews, when you see Yude Tamago did an interview, it's gonna be Shimada.
Mm-hmm. Which one is which, left or right? Who's the guy in the pink shirt?
I believe that is Nakai.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I gotcha.
I could be wrong though.
They're always seen together.
And all Asians look alike, so.
Shut up. Slaw, you don't need to do this. There are enough stereotypes in the series itself to go. So why should you care about Kinnikuman?
What's Mega Man doing?
Kinnikuman Buster!
Oh, thank you for putting King in this. Oh.
Yeah, well, they all are doing Kinnikuman's trademark move, the Kinniku Buster. And the joke with the Mega Man one is the text in the background says Rock Buster, which, his arm cannon is called the Rock Buster.
Yeah.
But it's also the Kinniku Buster. So, Kinnikuman was insanely influential. Though very few ideas are directly taken from it, some are. If you want to know where Yu Yu Hakusho got the crew battle, and by extension where the Smash Bros. Community got the crew battle, it got it from Kinnikuman's final arc, Scramble for the Throne.
Hell yeah.
And more or less, it's really the spirit of it that is carried on. A lot of shonen anime tropes originate in Kinnikuman, the power of friendship, power levels, beating the bad guy and winning him over to your side. A lot of that stuff originated in Kinnikuman. But here's the thing, is you may have... Pro wrestling fans have sometimes said the phrase, wrestling is anime. The thing is that that's because wrestling and anime share a lot of common tropes. The thing about that is that anime gets these tropes from Kinnikuman, and Kinnikuman gets these tropes from wrestling. So wrestling isn't anime is wrestling! Thanks to Kinnikuman.
Yes.
And also, just aside from the historical perspective and the cultural significance, it's just fun. It's really fun. It really captures that pro wrestling feeling of being goofy and camp, yet also cool and engaging. You'll find yourself caring about these characters, even though they'll slip and fall on a banana peel or something partway through. The character designs are really cool. I like them a lot. It's a lot of dumb fun. You know how everything is a JoJo reference. You're a JoJo reference. I'm a JoJo reference. See that? That's part 8 of JoJo. JoJo references Kinnikuman.
All of JoJo's just one big Kinnikuman reference.
Definitely, yes. I mean, that's where he got the part 1 and 2 design. I mean, that is where early on the super muscular shonen stuff Fist of the North... I don't remember if Fist of the North Star was before or after Kinnikuman. I'm pretty sure it was after. But it really was both Kinnikuman and Fist of the North Star that really popularized the super muscular shonen anime that was known for the 80s and 90s.
And we're all better off for it.
Yeah, we really are. I think Kinnikuman was first. In fact, if I had to say it, I would say Fist of the North Star is the father of shonen anime. Kinnikuman is the grandfather of shonen anime. And of course there's other stuff that comes before that. Kinnikuman was not the first wrestling manga. There's also stuff like Tiger Mask, which is very popular. But anyways, enough about the backstory. Let's get to the actual series. And I won't even need the push of my farts. That is a running gag. Kinnikuman will often say that. He will often say
translate very well.
Well, no. It's not supposed to make sense because whenever he says that, someone else, like whether it be a commentator or like someone in the crowd or something, will follow it up with saying, "I have no idea what that means, but he sure sounds confident."
Fake it till you make it.
So let's get started. Here's an overview. It's just the name of all the arcs. First Kaiju Extermination, 20th Choujin Olympics, the American Tour, second Kaiju Extermination, 21st Choujin Olympics, the 7 Devil Choujin, the Golden Mask, Dream Choujin Tag, and finally, Scramble for the Kinniku throne. And so let's get started with the first Kaiju Extermination arc. But oh no, I'm feeling weak. Cameraman, get this shot. I need my garlic, my Niku. That's what it is in Japanese, because that's a power source.
No. What's going on?
He's transforming!
Oh my gosh!
Ah!
All right, let's go. Yes, that is a thing in the series, is especially in these early chapters when Kinnikuman is like fighting like monsters and stuff. I'm taking this off, this is very uncomfortable. Oh yeah, and the kanji on this thing that I put on my forehead is Tora for Taiga, because I'm Taiga Mike.
Hey.
You'll find a lot of characters that
Submit your
kanji.
character design to the Kinnikuman.
Subreddit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll submit it to Yude Tamago, and maybe I'll get into the revival series. But anyways, so Kinnikuman will like eat garlic to like fuel himself up. It's almost certainly taken directly from Popeye and his spinach. Like, no, it's seriously the exact same trope. Except he eats garlic because Kinnikuman is a loser and he smells bad, and garlic makes your breath smell bad. So that's kind of the thing. It's the same thing with like Wario from Super Mario. Mm-hmm. Is like, oh, the fact that they eat so much garlic is supposed to be because they're disgusting.
Oh.
Yeah. Because it makes your breath smell bad.
Oh, I just thought it was like weird. Okay. It was like the garlic head dude off of Parappa. I was just like the Japanese.
Yeah, and you see like little scent lines coming up off of him.
Yeah.
It smells bad.
Oh, okay.
It's all in the mind.
Yeah.
Kick punch. But anyways, so there are a bunch of kaiju running amok in Japan, and the Japanese government needs to find a superhero to save the day. So, they go to the first man that they want on the job, Ultraman. Unfortunately, Ultraman is overseas fighting monsters in America. So let's get some American superheroes. How about Spider-Man? Spider-Man slipped on a building and fell off. Batman. Batman is visiting his family at the moment. Superman, off planet. So I guess they have no choice but to go for that incompetent Choujin no one likes, Kinnikuman.
Hey!
Yeah, Kinnikuman.
So, the first Kaiju Extermination is a bunch of like one gag a chapter bits where Kinnikuman kind of fails his way into victory. He's so bad at being a superhero that he accidentally does things right and saves the day. There are a lot of references to various like superhero and monster media. You can see the top panel I have there is literally like some like Japanese like mythological thing talking to Godzilla, and like because they're all like old monsters, they're complaining about how high prices are getting with inflation and all that. Like you see like Godzilla's got like a little like basket to carry fruit in.
Yeah.
Some things never change.
Right. So that's kind of the main thing, is you constantly have a bunch of like one gag a chapter things. And I didn't really there's not much of a plot here. It really is like disconnected. So most of what we talk about in first Kaiju Extermination is going to be the character bios, because it introduces some important characters. The only plot that's really there is very early on, a small guy named Alexandria Meat comes down and tells Kinnikuman that his actual name is Kinniku Suguru. And we'll get to that in Kinnikuman's character bio, where his name comes from. And that he's actually the prince of a foreign planet called Planet Kinniku, and that his parents want him to do more superheroics and become a worthy hero so that he will be able to ascend to the throne.
Oh.
And so that is why he's doing all these heroes.
Okay.
Like, all this heroism stuff and trying to prove himself and become a better hero and eventually a better wrestler.
Do you think that that was kind of a retcon when they found out that they were going to be able to do more of the comic, or was it their intention the whole time?
in their high school doodles, the lore for Kinnikuman was that he was actually the lost Ultra brother, who was like, you know, all the Ultraman characters. They're like, you have all the Ultra brothers, and Kinnikuman was like the lost one who nobody likes.
Oh, okay.
So so it's consistent in that like when Kinnikuman was born, they just mistook, because his mask looks like a pig face, they mistook him for a pig when they were visiting Earth, and they left him on Earth and took the pig back to planet Kinniku.
Old trope that just keeps working.
Yeah. So they realized their mistake, but Kinnikuman is an adult now. So, and he, you know, he's also kind of a loser. He lives in this rundown shack, and all he does is eat gyudon all day. Which, oh yeah. So specifically, he likes this instant brand called Yoshinoya, I believe. Which, in the first lecture, the first Mega Man lecture, there was Pez for the pellets. In the second lecture, there was chips for the chips. Yeah. And in this one, we've already eaten it all because Slaw took forever to show up.
Yeah!
Gyudon! But we did prepare Kinnikuman's trademark favorite food, gyudon.
It was delicious.
With a crap ton of garlic.
With a ton of garlic, because he needs his ninniku.
It is so good.
Yes. And it's very tasty. I don't blame him for eating all that.
Hell no.
So, oh yeah. It really is. It's kind of like a sumo, like, permabulk diet. Yep. But of course, like, it's just Planet Kinniku genetics that he's just always, like, swole as all get out.
No, I think it's Jordan. That's not Natty.
And he puts juice in the garlic.
Yeah, it's really what it is.
All right, so let's do character bios. So,
He looks cool.
yeah, so this is Kinnikuman, Kinniku Suguru. So Kinnikuman and all of the men in his family are named after baseball players because Yude Tamago likes baseball.
That's not a stretch.
It's also like in all of the early chapters when they're still being superheroes, there's still some pro wrestling references just because Yude Tamago likes pro wrestling. And they also like baseball, and that's why he is named after Egawa Suguru, I believe his name is. It's somewhere on there, yes.
Yeah.
So he's from Planet Kinniku. I included the nationality or ethnicity or whatever for every character because this is actually like a very multinational series. You have guys from all over the world, and they're all great except for a few of them.
Yes.
And so he starts out as this childish, cowardly loser. He can't do anything right, but he slowly but surely gains competence. He never becomes a completely serious guy. Like, there's always that goofiness to him. But he does eventually become a true hero and will be... I mean, that's this series, is his journey to become king. Mm-hmm. The kanji on his forehead is Niku, meaning meat. It's a joke because he is a meathead. Yeah, he's a big idiot.
Wait, what does his name mean again?
Kinnikuman?
Yeah.
Kinniku means muscle.
Okay, so like kin and niku together make muscle.
Yes, so kin can mean skin, and niku can mean meat. So skin meat is like muscle. Yeah. Kinniku. You throw those two kanji together, you get muscle. I'll be going over most of the kanji on guys' foreheads because they're neat. I like them.
Sick. Would you ever get that tattooed on your forehead?
Absolutely not. Let's see. His favorite food's gyudon. His theme song is called Miraculous Comeback Fighter because that's what he is. I think he actually has two theme songs. I just forget what the second one is. But he's really cool. Oh yeah, and he has a superpower called the Burning Inner Strength. In Japanese, it's the Kajiba no Kuso Chikara, which some people translate as Fire of Inner Strength, but most translations call it the Burning Inner Strength. That's what I'm going to call it. Mm-hmm. And it is literally, he has a clutch factor as a superpower. So, like, the more trouble he's up against, the better he pulls through.
Hey. You got like a Paper Mario bag.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like playing Danger Mario on Paper Mario. But in the 2011 Revival series, they actually do recontextualize the Burning Inner Strength to be something else, because eventually friendship power is not just a trope of like he'll fight better because he's fighting for his friends. It is a tangible energy source in universe. And the Revival series kind of retcons the Burning Inner Strength to just be Kinnikuman is able to tap into deeper levels of friendship power. And they eventually even explain like what lets you get to the deeper levels. And what actually lets Kinnikuman get to his like Burning Inner Strength level is when he starts fighting specifically to reach the guy he's fighting against. And that's what lets him get the truest friendship power. Yeah. Cool guy. Next up, we've got Alexandria Mead. He's this little kid, and he was sent to Earth by Kinnikuman's parents, the king and queen, to advise Kinnikuman on his journey to become a proper hero, to become the next king. He's always the voice of reason. He is in universe very smart and like probably the best second in the world, maybe the universe. And the little writing on his forehead is like it also says Niku, but like while Kinnikuman's is a kanji, Meat's is hiragana, which like the fact that it's written like that, it's sort of like an alphabet, where like that is usually used for like children who don't know kanji yet, among other things.
So he's a baby meathead.
Yeah, he's a little kid. Yeah. Except he's not a meathead. Alexandria Mead is actually very smart.
Yeah, he's like the Jiminy Cricket of wrestling.
He is. That is a very good comparison. Yes. He's Jiminy Cricket.
Kinnikuman, don't tell lie.
Right. So he's also from planet Kinniku, which, by the way, they're ethnically portrayed as if they were Japanese. Just like, they have the goofy masks on, though. But like their skin tone and everything is just Japanese. And his theme song is Meat's Meatball. And he's not really a fighter, but in the last arc of the series, Scramble for the Throne, he actually does have a couple fights that he contributes some to. Moving on, we have Terryman. So Terryman is the American Choujin. His introductory chapter is, I think it's only like chapter 2 or 3 of the series.
Like Ryan Fury from Tekken. A little bit.
Ryan Fury? No, man, he's based on Terry Funk.
That's even better.
Hence the name.
Oh my gosh, that's so much better.
Yeah.
Who's Terry Funk?
A wrestler. A pro wrestler.
He's kind of like the godfather of hardcore wrestling. Like
Yeah.
Mick Foley was really inspired by it.
Okay, sick.
Yeah. He even uses some of Terry Funk's moves in the series. And,
That's awesome.
yeah, so early on, I won't say everyone, most of the characters in this series are a stereotype of some sort. And usually it's the bad guys are the more negative stereotypes, and then like if a bad guy becomes a good guy, they get like a good stereotype. So Terryman starts out as like this ruthless businessman. He comes to Japan and he's way better at heroics than Kinnikuman, but he only works for exorbitant amounts of money. And when the Japanese government can't pay him, he just refuses and just like watches like kids get like beat up by monsters and doesn't care. But then like Kinnikuman like keeps like...
I said he was a bad guy. This sounds rad.
Hey, capitalism works.
That is the stereotype they're going for. Ruthless capitalist pig.
Yeah.
But eventually Kinnikuman, like despite constantly getting beaten up by the monsters that Terryman probably could have beaten easily, like Kinnikuman keeps on trying, and like Terryman asks, dude, why are you doing this? It's pointless. You're not even getting paid, and they don't even like you. And Kinnikuman is like, but it's my Japanese Yamato spirit. I have to fight on. And this inspires Terryman, and he starts doing heroics pro bono. And then he's still an American stereotype. He just goes from ruthless businessman to yeehaw cowboy.
Get along, little boy.
He's from Texas, and he owns a ranch.
Yeehaw cowboy.
Does he get a cowboy hat?
No.
When you see him on his ranch, he does.
Oh.
But never like in the ring or anything. Actually, sometimes when he walks up to the ring, he'll have it. But yeah. And his theme song is called Texas Bronco.
Nice.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah, his signature moves are the spinning toe hold and the Texas clover hold, and eventually he'll get a new one called calf branding. This is Natsuko. She is a Choujin journalist. She actually... Oh yeah, we got cameraman over here with the camera, actually kind of looking like Rule 63 Natsuko. But her whole thing is basically, she's kind of like, she pushes back, she's kind of like a fiery, like, she is a hardcore journalist. She will like go up there when like Choujin are fighting monsters
So
and
she's
like
April O'Neil.
She's very April O'Neil, but actually this series predates Ninja Turtles, so.
This is Proto O'Neil.
Right.
Proto.
Pretty early on in the series, she actually falls in love with Terryman, and by the end of the series, they're actually married.
Oh, sick.
And a common thing that they do with like the commentary is like the usual commentaries are like jokesters who like aren't like super serious or whatever. But if they want more serious commentary, a common thing they do is to just have Natsuko come in and do commentary because she just learned a lot of wrestling from Terryman. So she can give like actual commentary. This is Mari. She's a girl.
That's all.
So as far as female characters in Kinnikuman go, there are like 3. and to the series' credit, 2 of them are good. Like, Natsuko is a good character, and later on we'll be introduced to Bibinba, and she's cool too. Mari is not cool. So let's move on. I hate Mari. Okay. Kinniku, Mayumi, and okay, so I guess there's 4 major female characters. I forgot about Sayuri.
Well, clearly she's not that important then.
She's a side character. I mean, so is Mayumi. So they are the king and queen of planet Kinniku. Mayumi actually used to be like a very competent wrestler to where there's one point where you get to see like a lot of like past winners of the Choujin Olympics, which is their big wrestling tournament. And Mayumi actually had one at one point. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So he's not for Roshi then?
He's not like Roshi. There is another character who sort of fills a similar role, or I guess I should say Roshi fills a similar role to him, because again, this is pre-Dragon Ball. But let's see. Oh yeah, and he's also named after a baseball player. I forget, like other than that he's named Mayumi, I forget what his like family name is. And he's always like bickering with this other guy, Harabote Muscle. Harabote Muscle is this big fat dude, and he's basically the guy who administrates all the tournaments. He's sort of like a Kinniku branch family, because, you know, his family name is Muscle. And Kinniku means muscle, except for his name, like even in the Japanese, is Muscle in English.
Okay. So it's his uncle, Harabote.
No, he's not really. He's not really like.
He's like from a side clan or something.
Something like that, yeah. But he's usually allowed to administrate every tournament. Like, even like the bad guys are like, oh yeah, Harabote runs a good tournament. You can referee, man. So he's there, and like a lot of like sideline bickering that happens in the series is like Harabote like kind of being like against Kinnikuman because he bickers with Mayumi a lot, and Mayumi like dotes on Kinnikuman, and they'll like butt heads over that. Also, I forgot to mention the previous slide. There's a lot of like slapstick where Sayuri will like slap up Mayumi or something when he says something stupid or whatever.
Abuse.
Yes. It was the 70s. Domestic abuse was funny.
Yeah, he looks cool.
So this guy is he's from planet Dokuro. His name is Kinkotsuman. Dokuro means skull, so he's from planet Skull. And he came over to conquer the world with his kaiju. He's the reason for the recent kaiju outbreak, and he's their leader.
Oh, just
the good
with
thing.
Gun?
Yeah, he has a
You
gun.
want to wrestle?
Like a German.
He has a gun, and he uses it. In a actually pretty tragic scene in the next arc. But anyways, so Kinkotsuman, the good thing about Kinkotsuman is he's just as incompetent at being a villain as Kinnikuman is at being a hero.
Hey,
So he bumbles just as much, and often he defeats himself more often than Kinnikuman beats him. Fun guy. Also, if you watch the anime, you'll see a lot of this guy because there's a lot of like it's almost like a Family Guy cutaway gag for like a filler arc, and it'll usually be like Kinkotsuman and like his like best kaiju friend Iwao getting up to some stuff with like the police or something. So we go to the next arc, the 20th Choujin Olympics.
Oh my
God. So what happens is eventually Kinnikuman finds out that all of like the superheroes of the world have this big fighting tournament where you guys are already laughing at this.
We're losing our shit over
Guy's back. It's back.
Well, you're going to be seeing a lot of him.
Thank God.
Yeah. So they find out there's this world fighting tournament where all of like the superheroes come together to see who's the best guy, and it's called the Choujin Olympics. And so it's just a big fighting tournament. So there's some preliminary stuff that I won't go over, like it's like, you know, funny stuff like a 3-legged race or whatever where they have to like narrow it down to 8 people. And the thing is, with the final 8, there are a bunch of scary dudes Kinnikuman will have to deal with. Notably, these 3 guys called the Brutal Choujin, who are known for killing everyone that they get into the ring with. Like every match is a death match, as well as there is the returning champion, the British Robin Mask. Yes. So Kinnikuman and Terryman are both going to be in this tournament, but we have 6 character bios of the other contestants. So let's start with Skyman. He's a luchador. Specifically, he is based on Mil Mascaras, and I probably mispronounced that.
Cool.
He's from Mexico, and he's really just in this arc. Like, a lot of the characters in this arc do reoccur. Skyman does not.
But I don't know if Skyman and Rural Man are related in any way, but in Nisei, I think Rural Man is like Skyman's son or like pupil or something. I could be wrong. But Rural Man acts as Montero's second in that series' Choujin Olympic arc. I do think that they're
Is that
related.
a kanji on his head or just like a black symbol?
It's the number 1000.
Oh, okay. Sick. Is that his power level?
Hopefully not, because that would be pathetically
Yeah,
weak.
that'd be like a child.
Yeah. Like if his power level was 1000, Meat could probably beat him.
Yeah.
No, it's just
Power levels get up in the millions.
Next up we have maybe the most offensive
was about to say,
stereotype in the entire
my
series.
God.
Look at Dawson.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think this
This
guy
is from
predates
Street
Dawson.
No, he definitely does.
But,
I love how he has no
late
nose.
80s.
From India, this is Curry Cook. So he's one of the 3 brutal Choujin. He's one of the guys who kills everyone he gets into a fight with.
What's that on his head, Mike?
That is a plate of curry. So the thing is, I forget if it was in Nisei or the 2011 series, but there actually is a backstory to Curry Cook, where like him and like all of like the people who he trains with, like they put these like things on their heads as like a power source, and so Curry Cook like gets involved with like this dude. There's a girl he likes who runs a curry store. And, like, these other guys are, like, really, like, messing with her and trying to force her into an arranged marriage. And so Curry Cook, like, forgoes getting the normal power source from, like, his dudes to, like, wear her curry when he beats up that guy. And that's why he has the curry on his head.
A wild story.
It's a really cool backstory, and it's really the only saving grace of this character. He'll recur to... Yude Tamago likes this guy, so he actually comes... I won't say he comes back a lot, but he comes back more often than a racially sensitive person would let him.
Wait, so how does he get power from curry on his head?
He just does.
Okay.
It's his connection to the girl.
Right.
That's his friendship level.
That might actually be it, because like if he's fighting for her, that would be second tier friendship power, I think, if I remember my revival series correctly. Next up, we have Brocken Man.
Damn.
So he's another offensive stereotype. He's from Germany, and all of his attacks are based on atrocities that Germany committed during World War II.
You tell me his finisher is the Holocaust.
Well, he doesn't have a finisher because he loses, but he does have poison breath that Meat even comments like, "Oh no, he's doing Auschwitz."
Whoa.
Damn.
That's really bad.
This was in the 70s. I think Japan had like not gotten the memo that this doesn't fly yet.
No, they were trying to bring attention over to Germany and get it off themselves.
Yeah,
So
everyone pay
this
attention
is
to Germany.
So this is an updated design. If you read the early manga, okay. So
Did he have a
Yes.
Nazi flag?
He had a freaking...
his shirt just straight up was just a giant swastika.
Yeah.
Like just all over his body.
I call this the Iron Cross. Like,
Yeah.
what?
So that's an updated design. Reprints of the manga and like later parts of the anime remove all swastikas from the series. And like this is from a mobile game, which is where like all of the most updated character designs are from. So like if you see it and it looks like this kind of art, it's probably from, I believe it's called Muscle Shot.
Like Muscle Spin or
I think it's
something
Muscle
like
Shot.
that.
I think it's
Yeah.
Muscle Shot actually. I know I told you Muscle Spin earlier, but
I just don't want things
yeah,
to go.
it's still recording, don't worry. So he's an offensive stereotype. Fortunately, he doesn't last very long. Next up we have Ramen Man!
And he does not go away.
Ramen Man is a main character through the entire series. I love this guy. He's great, and I will not have you disrespecting him.
I love
So
his face.
he's a lot like Terry Man, where like he starts out as a negative stereotype and becomes a good stereotype when he becomes a good guy. Because like in this arc, by the way, Brocken Man and Ramen Man are the other two brutal Choujin.
Yeah.
And Ramen Man in this arc, he's literally speaking with like broken grammar, and he has like buck teeth. It's just very offensive, not good. Maybe when he walked up, I don't know. But I know he definitely has worn one at some point. But the idea with Ramen Man is like after he like has his like turnaround and like his like heel face turn, he turns from like being like this negative stereotype to like he's still a stereotype, but he's like a wizened kung fu master. He becomes the guy of 10 million techniques, I believe.
What's the kanji on his forehead?
Chu. It means inner, but it's probably referring to Chukoku, which is inner country, which is how Japan refers to China. I forgot to mention with Terry Man, he has like a star-looking thing, kanji on his forehead. Technically it means rice, but it can also just be a star and is sometimes used to refer to America, which is why he has it. Do any of these other guys have kanji on their forehead? No, they do not.
Rocketman.
Holy,
I bet Rocketman had a swastika on his forehead.
No, not on his forehead, just on his shirt.
Oh, okay.
So this is the British Choujin, Robin Mask, the gentleman of the ring, the previous returning champion of the Choujin Olympics.
He looks freaking sick.
He's great. He jobs a lot, though, I'm sorry to say. But buy your Robin coin now, because by the end of the series, it's going to pay off. This man eventually has, like, the best showing in any arc. Eventually. So, he's very friendly, outgoing, but he's a very serious fighter in the ring. Like, he goes into, like, a different zone when he's fighting. He's modeled after the British wrestler Billy Robinson. Not that you could tell with the night mask, but like, his physique is modeled after Billy Robinson. See, oh yeah, for the first half of the series, this man has a heel-face revolving door. Like, he is going back and forth constantly. Robin Mask's story is interesting. And they do retcon it in a good way in the Revival series, where, like, they just say that he was, like, morally troubled because, like, he had his first loss in this arc. So, like, and that caused him to, like, doubt himself because, like, he considered, like, starting to fight dirty and become a brutal Choujin because he thought he couldn't just make it being, like, the gentleman of the ring anymore. And so he keeps going back and forth between being a good guy, which is kind of in his nature, and being a bad guy, which is what he thinks he has to do. And the Revival series kind of says that, like, it was really, like, Kinnikuman, like, kind of being a symbol in the next Choujin Olympics, which we'll get to, that kind of, like, made him just become a true good guy. And he went through a lot of turmoil.
Friendship power.
Yeah, definitely. Robin Mask is super cool, and everyone likes him. And in Nisei, his son is, like, no contest the most popular character in the series. Everyone loves Kevin Mask.
Kevin Mask!
Kevin Mask.
He's based on Kevin Nash. He never loses.
Kevin Mask!
Which is weird because in this series, it seems like Robin is the family name. Because, like, Robin Mask's dad is Robin Knight, and then his grandfather is Robin Grand, but then his son is Kevin Mask. So I don't really get that. But also, Kevin Mask has daddy issues, so it's entirely possible he's just trying to intentionally not use the family name.
Yeah.
But that is never actually said in the series, so I don't know.
It would match.
Canadian man.
Yeah!
He's Canadian.
Ooh. He looks like a rip-off Captain Planet.
He
looks like Pepsi Man.
Yes!
He does look like Pepsi Man. So, this guy technically has the highest Choujin power level.
What?
Of the guys in this tournament. Not of the whole series. But like, he is like dumb muscle.
I was gonna
but
say
that doesn't serve
Canada.
him well at all. He loses a lot.
He bleeds
Just like real
syrup.
Canada.
He bleeds syrup.
So we got the first round.
Oh my goodness, that second shot.
I see the swastika.
Yeah. See, that's from the anime before they removed him. So the first round is Robin Mask versus Canadian Man. This isn't an actual match. Robin Mask decimates Canadian Man. This is like Canadian Man jobs to like
LMAO. Just LMAO.
Yeah, so Canadian Man jobs hard just to show how intimidating Robin Mask is, because Robin Mask just absolutely destroys him, and that builds him up to be like the final boss of this arc. Next up, this is the fight that actually like made Kinnikuman finally click with me, where I was like, yes, I actually love this series. Because this is where it's like goofy and brutal and fun and very pro wrestling all at the same time. This is Ramen Man versus Brocken Man. These are both brutal Choujin. They both want to kill each other. The match starts with Brocken Man taking off his jacket, throwing it over Ramen Man's face, and then going in with like spiked knuckles to start pummeling his head in. But then like Ramen Man like busts out and starts like dancing on his mouth, like tiptoeing on him, like going like
that.
down his throat. And then like Brocken Man starts like breathing out poison gas, and I already told you about that.
Yeah.
And then the way it ends, the ending was so brutal they had to change it in the anime. So in the anime, Ramen Man gets his signature move, the camel clutch, where he gets on Brocken Man's back and starts pulling up. And then in the anime, he breaks his back with it, and then he like lays him out flat and kneads him into dough, turning him into ramen, and then he eats it.
Bro!
In the manga, he does not break Brocken Man's back. He snaps him in half and holds up his like upper half and just starts like laughing like ha 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 ha.
Bro.
He's just like laughing, like licking the blood or something. And that was the point where I was like, wait, this series is awesome.
Wait, doesn't Brocken Man come back?
No.
Oh, he just dies there.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Brocken Man is dead.
Canonically.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
what, brutal Choujin? Is that what
Brutal
Ramen Man is at this point?
Yeah, they're both brutal children.
Yeah, that's the point. They killed him.
Yes. So next you have Terry Man versus Sky Man. So this is a fight that like these fights are all really short, so there's not like a whole lot of beats to cover. Mm-hmm. Like it starts with like Sky Man, like he's an air fighter, he's like bouncing off the like rope, staying in the air, but eventually Terry Man like gets him and like slams him into the ground. Just like, and once Terry Man has Sky Man on the ground, he ends up winning.
Yeah.
And then finally we have Kinnikuman versus Curry Cook, where obviously Curry Cook is the much superior and deadlier fighter, but Kinnikuman just can't be beat. He's very tenacious, he won't give up, he's got the burning inner strength, and he also ends up eating Curry Cook's curry.
No!
Oh, wow.
He reminds me of Ren and Stimpy in that picture.
Who does?
Kinnikuman.
He's got a very Western cartoon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of like Western like comic book influence in Kinnikuman.
Yeah, so.
So that's the first round. So now we've got the second round. So in between rounds, in the locker room, Kinkotsu Man like goes with his gun. He's like, I'm just gonna shoot Kinnikuman. And so he's approaching Kinnikuman's locker room, and Terry Man catches him, and Terry Man's like, "Hey you!"
With the gun!
and then like Kinkotsu Man freaks out and just shoots, and he shoots Terry Man in the leg, making him limp. So in this round, Terry Man is like, okay, well, if I want to win, I literally cannot fight fair. I don't have a leg.
Oh.
And so he comes out like uncharacteristically fighting dirty against Robin Mask, which Robin does eventually end up overpowering him and like winning anyway. And then Robin notices that Terry like can't use his leg, and like eventually like the crowd comes back around and is like, Terry, you're actually okay.
It's all right. You just got shot.
He's also paraplegic now, so Terry.
Oh, what?
They cut off, like he has to have his leg amputated.
Yeah.
Whoa.
He does not have a leg.
Yeah.
After this, like obviously, like in this he does.
If he was truly the American stereotype, he would have lost it to diabetes.
But this was the 70s.
Fair enough.
He lost
We
his
weren't that
significant
fat.
arm.
All right, the other fight we have in the second round is Kinnikuman versus Ramen Man. Which obviously Kinnikuman still terrified. Ramen Man's a way better fighter than him.
Yeah.
But Kinnikuman has like this bravado about him. He can't say no to a challenge because like he wants everyone to see him as like the big hero. So Ramen Man, as part of like his brutal Choujin stuff, recommends an ice top death match where like the ring is just a block of ice. And so it's all super deadly, but it doesn't really matter. And like one of the way that Kinnikuman like fails his way to victory in this one is he actually craps himself in fear of Ramen Man, which makes Ramen Man not want to approach him at all.
Oh my god.
And Ramen Man like runs out of the ring, and then like Robin Mask is like, "Hey, you can't do that," and he grabs him and he like backdrops him, and that is actually what knocks out Ramen Man. Actually, no, that's not what happened. I don't remember how this fight ends. It's been a while.
He loses.
Yes, Ramen Man loses to Kinnikuman. He's very, very embarrassed about it.
I would be too.
So we have the final round. In the third place match, we have Terry Man versus Ramen Man for third. Ramen Man immediately surrenders. But he then like starts bawling and like walks up to Kinnikuman before his match with Robin Mask and says, "Don't make my embarrassing loss a joke. Like, for my honor, you have to beat Robin Mask." And this is like the start of Ramen Man's like face turn.
Wow.
Because like, you know, like he's very prideful of himself and like his brutal Choujin abilities, but like you'll soon see that he regrets a lot of the killing he's done. Mm-hmm. And like, again, it's like people who fight Kinnikuman become good guys.
Yeah.
Because Kinnikuman reaches them with his fighting. So if you'll remember, Kinnikuman, really bad at the whole like turning down offers thing. So in Kinnikuman and Robin Mask's final round, Robin suggests they have a banishment match where both of them, if whoever loses, they can never return to their home country. So if Kinnikuman loses, he can never go back to Japan. If Robin Mask loses, he can never go back to England.
Oh, this is going to be like an I quit match situation.
No. And so it is a very serious match where Robin always controls the flow of the match, but Kinnikuman is just so tenacious. He is like getting bones broken, like absolutely bruised and battered, but he just doesn't get up. He always stands up, no matter what. And at one point, Robin is like getting mad that Kinnikuman won't just stay down. He ends up charging at him, but Kinnikuman like dodges at the last minute, and Robin Mask like slams his head into like the corner pole, which like it damages his mask with like this big crack, which is like a permanent thing that happens. Like in certain arcs, he gets a different mask that he wears, but he does still have that original mask. And like in Nisei, Kevin actually ends up entering the Choujin Olympics wearing that mask. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Throwback.
Yeah.
I love it.
So like that mask stays damaged, and like it's portrayed as like a symbol of the disgrace that the Kinniku family has put on the Robin dynasty. But that's not how the match ends, because Robin Mask, even more angry now, like there's this like very iconic like panel of like Robin getting up after like he cracked his like head open, and like you just see him, because like he took his armor off, and you just see like blood like flowing out from his mask. It's a really cool panel that I wish I included here, but I didn't. But Robin Mask grabs Kinnikuman and puts him in his tower bridge, where he like holds him over his back and just pulls down, and he eventually snaps Kinnikuman's back, or at least he thinks he does, because Kinnikuman like cracked a muscle or something and made Robin think he did. But it does knock Kinnikuman out. He's unconscious for a little bit. And Robin Mask thinks that he like broke Kinnikuman in half and killed him. So he's like lamenting. He's like, oh, what am I doing? Like, oh, I think I might have gone too far in the heat of the moment there. But while he's lamenting that, Kinnikuman wakes back up and catches Robin Mask in a Mexican rolling clutch hold, winning.
Man.
Winning by pin.
Hey.
So Kinnikuman wins and is now the champion of the Choujin Olympics. Also worth noting, both Mayumi had won in the past, like he was a previous winner. And also, oh yeah, another thing about Robin Mask is Robin Mask has canonically defeated Ultraman in battle before, because because when Robin Mask was like the current champion, the previous champion before that was Ultraman. So Robin Mask dethroned Ultraman. Also, Harabote Muscle even won a Choujin Olympics at one point.
Sick.
So moving on from that, Kinnikuman may be the champion of this federation, which is the WSA, I believe, the World Superman Association. But there's a whole other thing, and now Kinnikuman has to tour the world to defend his title. And so we get to the American Tour arc. So Kinnikuman has to swim across the ocean because he misses the plane. Because he's eating gyudon. And so he arrives in Hawaii, and he wants to challenge the Hawaiian champion, Jesse Mavia. Jesse Mavia defeats Kinnikuman in 6 seconds.
Oh.
Was it 6 seconds? I don't remember what the time is, but wait, never mind. No, he does not fight Jesse Mavia. He fights Jesse Mavia's immediate underling, Prince Kamehame, who was the previous champion before Mavia, and he's like this old wizened dude.
Wait, Kamehame.
Kamehameha.
Not Kamehameha.
He's named after Kamehameha.
That's an actual...
That's an actual Hawaiian guy, like the first Hawaiian king who like liberated Hawaii from like the British Empire was Kamehameha, which in their language means King Kamehame.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So this guy is Prince Kamehame, and he is the former Hawaiian champion, but he got too old, and so he was usurped by Jesse Mavia, and so he serves as Mavia's underling now, and so he defeats Kinnikuman in one move. But then, because he wants to teach Mavia a lesson, Kamehame agrees to teach Kinnikuman how to properly wrestle. And this is the point where Kinnikuman like stops failing his way into victory, because now he knows how to actually fight. And Kamehame teaches Kinnikuman the 48 killing moves, which are just a bunch of different techniques. You see him use a few of them in this arc. You never see all 48, but you do see one move that's supposed to be the culmination of them all. But what you need to know about this one is he knows the Furin Kazan now, which is like 4 basic finisher moves that all combo into each other. I forget exactly which one it is, But it's really cool. And he eventually goes and beats Jesse Mavia because all Mavia does is counter. And so Kinnikuman eventually taunts Mavia into fighting first. And then Kinnikuman just immediately is just like, Fuden Kazan, gotcha. This one's from Kamehame. And then after getting the Hawaiian Championship, he gives the prize money, he gives the belt to Kamehame because he deserves it. Oh. And then he continues, here's Kamehame's
he looks sick.
Yeah, he's super cool. He'll return like once or twice.
Planet Coconuts?
Yeah.
I wonder if he knows DK.
Yeah, maybe. So he had a 999 win streak, and then he lost to Jesse Mavia. And he's the guy who actually taught Kinnikuman how to wrestle. He is Kinnikuman's mentor. He's the Roshi of the series, or I guess Roshi is the Kamehame of Dragon Ball. Because again, this is the original. His signature move is he's got a killer rolling sabat.
Killing roller survive.
Rolling sabat.
Sabat.
It's like a spinning kick.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
It's an actual wrestling move.
Yeah. No, but that didn't sound as goofy as all the other ones. That's
because it's an actual wrestling
move.
Yeah.
So is this the point where Kinnikuman gets his finisher too?
It's where he gets the Fuden Kazan. He does not have his most signature move until later.
Okay.
So next, we have the second part of the American Tour arc, the WSC Infiltration. So the American the American Choujins are all divided. It's kind of like making fun of you have the WWE, WWF, and they're all divided in rival companies.
Yeah.
So you have the one that Kinnikuman belongs to, the WSA, the World Superman Association. But you also have the WSF, the World Superman Federation, and then the WSC, the World Superman Committee.
It's all World Superman?
Yeah. Well, they all originally were the WSA, and then they all splintered off from that.
Yeah, because it was WWF, and then it became WWE, and then it was, I think they all splintered off in NWA, though, I think.
Probably. But the WSA tasks Kinnikuman with infiltrating the other things and getting their championship belts to unite them all back together as a WSA. And so this is probably after Curry Cook, this might be the next most offensive thing in the series. Kinnikuman dons a disguise as a man called the Channel Man. He takes shoe polish and puts it all over his face.
No.
There is no way around it. Kinnikuman just does blackface.
Cancel him!
Oh my lord.
He does get canceled because literally the WSF just immediately sees through it but lets him keep doing that so they can trick him at the last moment.
Please tell me you put a panel of that in.
Do what?
Did you put a panel of him in blackface?
I don't know if there's a Channel Man panel. Maybe. But Channel Man defeats a lot of WSC dudes, and then when he has notoriety in the WSC, he starts starting beef with the WSF to get them to go at each other so the WSA can come in and sweep everything. And so one of the guys, you have Skull Bozu, who's I believe it's the WSF that he fights for. They're kind of the baddest. They're the bad guys basically. The WSC is just another faction. So the WSC has this guy called Beauty Rhodes, who's based on
Cody
Dust.
Rhodes.
Yeah, probably.
Sorry, it probably is Dustin Rhodes, because Cody's not around at this point, sorry.
Right. And eventually, Kinnikuman, as the Channel Man, stumbles upon this one guy who's fighting in the underground of the WSF, I think? Yes, the WSF, a now vagabond and divorced Robin Mask.
Oh.
And so Robin Mask just wants his revenge on Kinnikuman. He is full brutal Choujin now.
He calls himself Dynamite Piper?
No, that's not...
Oh, he's fighting against. Okay.
Oh yeah, and Robin Mask actually he no longer is showing mercy like he did to Kinnikuman. He is using his tower bridge to tear people in half. He just breaks Dynamite Piper in half.
Cool.
It will not be the last person Robin Mask tears in half in this series. There's actually a video on YouTube that is just called "Robin Mask Does Some Really Cool Shit."
Roddy Piper's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, so I'm glad there's a character named after him.
Yeah. A lot, especially early on in the series, a lot of guys are just named after real dudes.
That's great.
So Kinnikuman has his match against Robin Mask in this ring that's suspended above the Grand Canyon. And they fight to a standstill. They're both real beat up. And then Kinkotsuman comes in an airplane and crashes into the ring to kill them both by making it drop into the cannon. Who's Ken?
Who's Kinkotsu? Oh,
the skull guy. Yeah, the skull guy. Robin Mask, with his last move, throws Kinnikuman to safety, and Robin Mask falls into the Grand Canyon and dies.
No!
Yeah, Robin Mask, he dies.
Okay.
Robin Mask.
And then, after this, they still have to settle the whole, like, feud thing. So, the founder of the WSA, Godphone Eric, who's based on Fritz von Erich, who's the guy who trained, like, Bruiser Brody, he's the founder of the WSA, and he suggests a tag team tournament with all the factions bringing their best tag team, including the Kaiju, who also have their own tag team, to see who will rule the American Choujin world. So here are our teams. Oh wow, that autoplay. Okay, so before I continue, I put some of the theme songs in. I think it was just this arc actually, but I eventually stopped because a lot of it's copyrighted and I didn't want to risk that. So first off, we have the Emperors, Beauty Rhodes, and Jean Steamboard. This is like some piece of classical music that I forget the name of, but this is their actual like walk-in theme when they walk in. Like the manga just actually says this song is playing. And they represent the WSC. They're kind of like, they're rivals, but they're also like not bad guys. Next up, we have the WSF's Blood Illusions.
Oh, they look cool.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is their theme.
Yeah, Night on Bald Mountain.
I would actually. Yeah, that'd be pretty intense.
And they are Skull Bozu from the USA and Devil Magician from Spain. They are
Devil
both.
Yu-Gi-Oh names.
Yeah.
They are both brutal Choujin, and they're also called the most violent combo in the universe. These are kind of like the final boss guys of the American tour arc. Next up, we have the Rugged Bros, representing the Kaiju. So Kinkotsu Man makes this guy called Black Shadow, who's a Kaiju that is supposed to have, let's see what the quote is, the strength of Beauty Rhodes, the brutality of Ramen Man, the technique of Robin Mask, and Kinkotsu Man's genius brains. And that's where it falls short. And it teams up with Kinkotsu Man's usual underling, a rock monster called Iwao. And they form the Kaiju Master-Student combo. Finally, we have the Machine Guns. Hey! Kinnikuman and Terry Man. Terry Man's got a prosthetic leg and he's back in action.
Yeah!
There's actually, in the Revival series, there is like a side chapter that like explains how Kinnikuman like convinced Terry Man to like get back into the Choujin wrestling world.
There's his cowboy hat!
Yeah, there's his yeah, they both walk in cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this song is the theme from The Magnificent Seven, which is a Western.
Yeah, I know, it's a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, you've actually seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, well I've never seen any movie.
Western movie.
Yeah. So they walk up to that, and in the side chapter, it's Kinnikuman has to convince Terry to go back to wrestling. So like he has to like tame this wild horse called Machine Gun, and like they have to go back and forth between this like they're at Terry Man's ranch, and they have to go back and forth and like bring all this water in, and so Kinnikuman eventually does befriend Machine Gun and get through to him, and that convinces Terry Man to like tough it out, use the prosthetic leg that his buddy made for him, get back in the wrestling world, and they form the Machine Guns, representing the World Superman Association.
WSA! WSA!
WSA! WSA! WSA! WSA! Woo! So let's go to round one! Alright, so we've got, okay, so this is actually like not a traditional tournament, this is a round robin tournament. So every team fights every other team and they just get points based on win, lose, or draw. So, the Machine Guns versus the Emperors. So this is like, Kinnikuman and Terry have growing pains in their team, where like Kinnikuman doesn't really know how to like work as a team. He constantly is like having Terry Man like dive in and like take hits for him. And then by the end of it, Terry Man actually kind of carries the team to not losing, because Terry Man busts out his calf branding, which is a move where he like grabs a guy and just like they fall to the ground. He just like grabs their face and like makes them like impact face first into the ground. That's calf branding. And so Terry Man does that and does knock his opponent out. I believe it was Beauty Rhodes. But unfortunately, him and Kinnikuman had taken too much damage at that point, and the match ends in a draw. So that's how it is. It ends in a draw. Blood Illusions versus the Rugged Bros. Iwao immediately gets knocked out, and then they literally eviscerate Black Shadow because Black Shadow is really stupid.
That's pretty intense, though.
Yeah.
Like, he gets completely dismembered.
Yeah, I mean, he's a kaiju. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
They're not people.
Yeah, and then from that point on, because they still have to fight their other rounds, Kinkotsu-man steps in for Black Shadow. So now we have round 2. The machine guns versus the Kaiju Master-Student combo. Easy peasy. They try to cheat. Kinkotsu-man tries to, like, drop the stage lights onto the machine guns, but it doesn't work. And Kinnikuman literally, like, double lariats both of them and instantly wins. Next up, we have the Emperors versus the Blood Illusions. Blood Illusions are doing all this crazy stuff, you know, like,
Breathing fire.
yeah, like Devil Magician. Actually, no, that's Skullbozu. Skullbozu can breathe fire, and, like, they fight in, like, dirty ways. And, like, even the Emperors eventually just surrender, but then the bad guys keep going and fighting them, and it sucks. And Terryman tries to get in the way, but they, like, kind of, like, take away his, like, prosthetic leg. And there's, like, this little kid who, like, gets it back or something for him. So we go to round 3, which is the final round. This decides who gets the most points and wins. The machine guns versus the blood illusions. And there's this kid. This kid also has a prosthetic leg, and so he's, like, cheering for Terryman, because Terryman's, like, an inspiration for him that, like, he can do it, too.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah,
It's awesome that they have that in.
Yeah, so Terryman wants to fight on behalf of this kid who's, like, at the ringside in his wheelchair.
Dude.
And so, oh yeah, and then, like, the Blood Illusions try to sneak in weapons, but a newly reformed Ramen Man just, like, kung fu kicks them and, like, literally, like, just, like, knocks all their knives, like, out from, like, under their costumes and stuff.
Now he's all about, like, an honorable fight and everything. Man.
Well, to be fair, he was always about an honorable fight.
Yeah,
he just
but, like,
killed
He just
people.
brutally rip people in
Yeah,
half.
he just kills people. But he doesn't kill people anymore.
Yeah, because he felt shame over all that.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. And so the Kaijus also both jump in because they just want to, like, gang up on the machine guns and win the whole thing. But like, Kinkotsu Man, like, slaps the kid that was, like, cheering for Terryman, and it's like Terryman just goes nuts and, like, calf brandings everyone, winning everything, and the machine guns are the best, and Terryman is the coolest. Woo! Terryman is, like, Terryman is probably the most consistently good dudes in the series. Like, winning. Like, he has one of the most consistent records. Maybe Ramen Man is similarly winning full. Mm-hmm. Terryman's awesome. I love it. Oh yeah, and Kinnikuman was allowed to, like, step into this, like, thing that's like the Walk of Glory. It's kind of like Hollywood where, like, you know, you put your hands in the cement, but Kinnikuman slips on a banana peel, and so it's his butt print there instead. And that is the mark he left on the American Choujin world. So now we go to the second Kaiju Extermination Arc. So Kinnikuman goes back to his usual life of fighting Kaiju, but he gets too busy doing heroics that he doesn't defend his title. So he loses his Choujin Olympics and American Tour titles. But he's got to do more stuff. Like, he's got to do more Kaiju fighting. So he has to go to Planet Hormone, which is, like, there's this clan that just hates the Kinniku clan for some reason. And so they task the daughter of the clan. Yes, Law?
What does Hormone mean?
I don't know. I think it actually, because they use, like, their daughter to try and, like, seduce Kinnikuman, it might actually supposed to be, like, sounding like hormone.
I see a swastika up there.
Or, like, they have a horror mom.
Just you wait.
It's coming back.
Yes. So Kinnikuman has to fight Bibingba Hormone. But because, like, when they're fighting, like, Bibingba has, like, a wardrobe malfunction, and Kinnikuman, like, gives her clothes to cover up, and she's just in love with him for the rest of the series. Very easily won over, but then again, I don't think anyone, like, not even her father, ever showed her much love at all. So later on, so these are, like slightly longer. They're not really like a Gaga chapter like the first Kaiju Extermination. It's like three or four chapter arcs. And so the other important one is Kinnikuman and a bunch of other Choujin. They have to gather all these strong Choujin around the world to go to planet Raka and fight a bunch of Kaiju. Like, it's Terryman's back, Ramen Man's back, and one guy they have to get, and it causes a little friction because Ramen Man is on their team, but another guy they have to get is the son of Brocken Man, Brocken Jr. And Brocken Jr., he does agree to help them because, you know, like, it's the greater good. You got to fight, like, the evil Kaiju. But he is, like, very not happy about Ramen Man, and, like, while they're together, he, like, swears vengeance on Ramen Man. He says, like, I am going to kill you the next time if we ever meet. Leading to, character bios. So we've got Bibimbap. She is the main love interest for Kinnikuman. She is named after the Korean dish bibimbap, which is a delicious dish. And she's never had an official fight, but like because she like beats a kaiju in this arc, we can assume she is a Choujin and like has combat potential, but she never like wrestles.
Yeah.
Really, there's no even though technically you would think like the women of like Planet Kinniku like are Choujin and could, there are no woman wrestlers in the series except for in one spin-off of Nisei. Not even in Nisei, but a spin-off where there are two people in that big tournament that are like female Choujin wrestlers.
Sexist. I demand equality.
No. So mainline Kinnikuman's face.
Yes.
Okay, good.
It might even just be an editor thing. Like, no one wants to see women get beat up.
Wow, that was way too quiet.
We just like to see really muscular men.
Yeah.
That's
Big
all.
bad boys from outer space.
Kinnikuman's for the boys!
But yeah, they've been mostly on the sidelines alongside Meat and Natsuko.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's around. I don't know. She's cool. Like, she's kind of very, like, self-assured. She's got this fire in her. She's a good character.
She's got spunk.
She does have spunk. And the other new character is Brocken Jr. He wants revenge. As you might imagine, he's from Germany. Actually, both of the Brockens are named after the Brocken mountain range in Germany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he wants revenge on Ramen Man for killing Brocken Man. And this character is the reason, because this guy is a main character. He will be in the rest of the series. He is the reason why we never got the original Kinnikuman in the West. Definitely.
No.
He does appear in Nisei, like he's in Ultimate Muscle, but they just tone him down. They're just like, oh yeah, he's just a German guy.
He's a military
Is
person.
his-
Yeah, he's a military German
Does
guy.
his lapel say JJ or BJ?
BJ.
Good to know.
The Wolfenstein reference.
He's got a BJ bit.
Okay.
I was gonna say that'd be big if true, but then I realized like no, it can't be because Wolfenstein was way after.
Yeah.
Also, his head looks just like a Mega Man design with
It
the
does.
little...
Yeah, he's got like the chin strap thing going on.
Well, even the little, like, ear bulb things, like, that's very...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is
He
kind
looks-
of Mega Man-ish.
he
He
looks-
could be a Reploid.
It looks
He
very.
could be in Repliforce.
Yeah.
You know?
He's got like little.
Yeah, he's got like the little lines coming down from
army
his eyes.
in history!
History!
Yay!
How many Mega Man references can we fit in this lecture? We already had the Rockbuster. There will be at least one more. Actually, no, at least two more. But yeah, unlike his father, he's not a like he dresses the part, but he does not espouse any Reiki
I don't like the
tendency.
Nazis. They just have good fashion. That's all.
So he's Lemmy Kilmeistering it.
Maybe there
Red
are a
Walsh
lot of
Nazi memorabilia.
ways.
What?
There are a lot of ways I've heard people like try to justify Brocken Jr. And like he's a character that if the series was made today just wouldn't be in the series or it would be very different.
Yeah.
Or he just
But-
would be, he'd just be the same character, just not wearing the Nazi memorabilia.
Yes, that probably exactly that.
Well, I think I like that because he's kind of
One of the common justifications is that he's kind of like post-war Germany, where they
Yeah.
still kind of have that identity, but they're trying to
Yeah.
figure out like how to move forward
Yeah.
from the Nazis. That's the most charitable interpretation I have found of his character. I have no idea if Yurei Tamago was mature enough to have that kind of idea.
Probably not.
based on everything. No, for sure not. But that's a
He is
fun
German,
interpretation.
therefore
Yes.
we will put. We
And
will
it gives
put the
him
swastika on
a good. I think it gives him like historically. I like that because post World War II Germany did have to deal with that, and they were very pissed off with a lot of the
Yes.
sanctions they got put on.
Yes.
So
So we're gonna go with that.
yeah, that's.
We're gonna
solely
have
not
to,
that he
because-
just likes Nazis.
No. Well, he's okay, whatever. 21st Choujin Olympics because the Choujin Olympics are back, baby.
Hey.
A year has passed.
I'm
Real
sorry, but freaking Ramen Man.
Yeah.
It's me. His
Hey,
face is so
I love
small.
Ramen Man.
Real quick,
Yeah.
before we get started on this, how far are we into the lecture so far?
I'd say a little short of halfway.
Okay, I have to pee very bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Break.
And this is almost out of water anyway, so.
All right, actually, can we do the character bios for this before we do the background?
Yeah.
21st Choujin Olympics. Big players. Brocken Jr. is in this. Ramen Man is in this, and you know they don't like each other. And of course, Kinnikuman returns. Terry Man does not make it because in like the preliminaries, one thing is like throw a train down the tracks as far as you can. And when Terry Man threw his, he noticed there was a puppy on the tracks, so he has to like jump after and catch the train he threw, which disqualifies him. So Terry Man is not in this tournament. So we have T-Pac Man from Sri Lanka.
That's amazing.
That's my boy.
I was wondering what that was.
I was like, what's
That's
the
T-Pac Man. He's our sponsor. Next we have Pentagon from the Bermuda Triangle.
Dude looks freaking sick.
I know, right? His signature move and his theme song are called Stop the Time. Guess what it does?
Stop time.
Oh yeah.
Is he from JoJo?
Yeah.
He does kind of look JoJo. He does look JoJo-y.
Yeah.
All of his moves
he looks
are...
like he'd be a stand.
Yeah, he does.
He really does.
So everything he does is like space-timey. He's really cool. He's also an air fighter, as you can tell from the wings, you know?
Yeah.
Next we have Watchman. He's a watch, also a sponsor. But he's from Switzerland, and he has a bunch of like very precise stuff, probably based on like a Swiss Army knife or something. He has a really good sleeper hold, because that's the only thing he actually does in his fights, is try to go for, like, he goes for like a sleeper hold and like puts him to sleep.
Okay.
Next we have Wolfman.
Oh, hey, look, it's freaking E Honda.
Yeah, kind of. So he's a sumo wrestler, and he's from Japan, and because Kinnikuman is from planet Kinniku, he does not see Kinnikuman as like a true Japanese. He's very mad Kinnikuman was the Japanese representative in the previous Choujin Olympics. So like he's got like a vendetta out for Kinnikuman. He's named after this Rikishi, which is like just, you know, big name local celebrity sumo wrestler guy, Chionofuji Mitsugu. And like he was called the Wolf, which is why he's Wolfman. But like because of that guy like wanting to like protect his brand, in the anime they had to change his name to Rikishi Man. And so next we have Mind Puzzle Man. So you know those little like games where you have like
Oh
little...
my god.
I love all these inanimate objects that are just wrestling.
Yeah.
And I love that he has a belt.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I was like, why does he have a belt?
So he's based on like those little like metal things where like they're all tied together and you gotta like turn them in a very certain way to like pull them apart.
So that's how he gets defeated, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you solve his puzzle, you defeat him.
I love your notes
He's from
about
Norway.
LMAO.
Yeah, he's a jobber.
That's so stupid.
In a very similar vein, we have Cube Man from Hungary. He is a Rubik's Cube.
with human legs.
Cubics! He's actually here!
So, much like Mind Puzzle Man,
tiny eyes.
you beat him by solving his puzzle.
That's so stupid.
You haven't seen Stupid yet. Because we have Benki Man.
What?
Translators note, Benki means urinal. He's from the ancient Incan Empire.
And he was a urinal.
Why did they
Yes.
make him a urinal?
Well, there's actually a backstory. Much like Curry Cook, he has like a backstory chapter in like the Revival series where like he used to think he was named Gelato Man because he has like the little swirl thing on his head, and then later he learns what that actually is.
Oh god.
And like he didn't have, and like when he thought he was Gelato Man, he didn't have like water running in his torso. And then when he learns he's actually Benki Man, he like learns to do his signature move, the Benki flush. He literally just shoves you in and flushes you, which kills you. Which kills you.
Is he a Devil Choujin?
No, Choujin Olympics. Everyone in the Choujin Olympics is a Justice Choujin.
Okay, gotcha.
Brutal Choujin are just particularly brutal Justice Choujin, but early on they're definitely supposed to be the heels.
Okay.
Yeah.
POS.
So next we have King Cobra from India, our second Indian Choujin.
He's kind of cool though.
Yeah, even though he has like this cobra on his head, he's actually a candle themed Choujin. Like he like encases people in like wax and stuff.
Huh.
I don't know why he has a cobra on his head. Like it can like go around and like bite people, but like that's not really how his fight goes. But whatever, he's King Cobra.
Okay.
And finally we have
Warsman?
Warsman,
Dude.
the Soviet fighting computer.
Is he actually a computer?
He is half Choujin, half robot. He is known as a Robo Choujin.
Oh,
Dude.
yeah.
So like he was bullied as a kid because he grew up in Siberia. And like he did not have like the like stoic mask that he did. He had like a big eye, and then everything else is just like cybernetics that kind of looks like guts. And he just like kind of looks disgusting. So all these other like Russian kids like bullied him and like threw stones at him. And then eventually, so like the way that he is a stereotype is like, you know, back in like the Cold War when the Russians really wanted to win the Olympics in order to like prove their superiority, and so they pushed their Olympic athletes like way too hard. That is what Warsman is, because he went through horrible, brutal training to become the fighting computer.
Is that supposed to be him up at the top right too? Like his original?
No, this guy in the top right is Warsman's trainer, Mr. Barracuda.
Hey.
And
I feel like the naming conventions definitely got passed on to JoJo.
potentially, yeah. So Warsman, his main weapon is his bear claws, the claws that come out of his like hands. And like one of his signature moves with it is to do the screwdriver, where he like dives at someone and starts rotating his body to like drill through them. Also, another thing he does is a submission hold called the Palo Special, which is where he like mounts someone from behind, wraps his legs around their legs, and like grabs their arms and just pushes down. To where like if they let him go down, he's pinning them and they're done.
Yeah.
But like they can't get up because he has like a really good leverage on them. It's a really powerful submission hold and how he wins a lot of his matches. And he's like this really sadistic, cruel fighter, but he is shown to have like certain soft spots. But then, like, whenever he shows any of those soft spots, like, Barracuda just whips him and he goes back to being brutal.
Barracuda looks like a pirate.
I think he's supposed to look like noble
He
or
looks
something.
like Reinhardt.
In a way. Yeah, he does kind of look like Reinhard von Lohengram.
Yeah.
So, that's all our wrestlers. And so, let's all take a visit to Benki Man.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. We went to Benki Man, and we escaped his Benki flush. Turns out it's not as killer as you think. It's just very smelly. So we're back with round 1 of the 21st Choujin Olympics. First up, we have Cube Man versus Mind Puzzle Man. This is a joke fight. They are both just trying to solve the other's puzzle first to win. Cube Man wins. He solves the mind puzzle first.
So stupid.
Next up, we have Warsman versus T-Pac Man. And so, this is another fight that's not close. Much like how Robin Mask just absolutely destroyed Canadian Man to like build him up as the final villain, Warsman just impales T-Pac Man with his screwdriver, just tears right through him, and then he takes T-Pac Man and rips off his T-head, and he drinks the tea!
No, T-Pac Man!
And then he flashes his Warsman smile, a sadistic grin he shows on his normally featureless face when he is certain of victory.
Yes.
And that's what that picture is. That's the Warsman smile.
Snake.
I didn't know it was a smile. I thought it was like wearing a mask.
Yeah. No. Normally there's like no mouth on there. He only gets that like grin when he's like doing his like sadistic
After
Warsman.
he's had
Makes
a
like
nice
a
cup of
sense
tea.
laugh.
Yeah. After he caps up.
Back alley. Back alley.
And so that's how that fight ends. Next we have Brocken Jr. versus Watchman. So Brocken Jr. just like breaks Watchman's face with, I believe he uses his signature Red Rain of Berlin, where he lights his hand on fire and then just starts chopping.
Oh, man.
Whoa. That's intense.
And then, when he breaks Watchman's face, he looks at Ramen Man in the crowd, mounts Watchman from behind, and puts him in the camel clutch.
Oh, my God.
And snaps Watchman in half, and then he's like, Ramen Man, you're next!
But that's Ramen Man's signature move. That
Yeah,
he's-
yeah,
oh, my
Brocken
God,
Jr.
that's so cool.
Brocken Jr. used the move Ramen Man used to kill his father to intimidate
Oh, my God.
That's amazing.
That is freaking sick.
Finally, we have Kinnikuman versus King Cobra. King Cobra's whole thing is he's a candle. He shoots wax everywhere. He tries to immobilize people, but and like he has a snake that like comes off and exposes his wick. And when his wick is exposed, Kinnikuman like
Not his wick!
he grabs King Cobra and starts dragging him along the ropes. And this ignites his like thing, and so his wax starts melting. So he's like freaking out. And so he goes and like sticks his head into Benki Man to try and put out the fire. And then Benki flushes him, and he's dead.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
Now we go on to round 2.
Oh my god.
What is happening in that top one?
Whoa.
So now we have Wolfman versus Cube Man. Wolfman's like the sumo wrestler guy, so
Yeah.
he's doing like his like palm strikes, and that's how he beats Cube Man. Is he palm strikes all the faces on Cube Man until they're all red, so he solved the puzzle.
Brute force always wins.
Oh yeah. Next we have probably the most intriguing fight of this match: Ramen Man versus Brocken Jr.
Yeah.
Brocken Jr. suggests a concrete death match where the ring is made of concrete. And Ramen Man, like I said, he regrets what he did to Brocken Man. And so he actually jobs for a while and lets Brocken Jr. brutalize him some. He's just taking the hits while having like a stoic look on his face until Brocken Jr. gets on his back and tries doing the camel clutch, which is where Ramen Man is like, no, you gotta be better than this. We both need to move on. And that is when he starts actually fighting back against Brocken Jr. and reverses the camel clutch into the Romero special, which, you know, that's an actual wrestler.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing up there.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing in that panel, and that is how he wins the match.
Bro.
That's pretty cool.
There's another, like, 2011 series side chapter is, like, immediately after this match, they both go and visit Brocken Man's grave.
Aw,
And they
that's nice.
they like light some incense and have like a little memorial.
Bro.
Huh.
I mean, he was a Nazi, but
Yeah, don't think about
Hey, come on. That's sweet.
it. It is a really sweet.
Yeah.
Next we have Warsman versus Pentagon.
That is a brutal panel.
Yeah.
Holy
so
crap.
Pentagon is like flying in the sky with like his wings and all that, and he's like stopping time and stopping Warsman from approaching him. But all it takes is Warsman gets one good hit in, and he rips Pentagon's wings off. And with much like Skyman in the first, in the 20th Choujin Olympics, once he's grounded, there's not much he can do. Warsman just bear claws him in the face and slashes down. And Pentagon is no more.
That's cool.
freaking ripped him in half.
Yes.
And finally, we have Kinnikuman versus Benki Man.
Yeah!
So Kinnikuman runs away the whole time because after seeing what happened to King Cobra, he is terrified of getting Benki flushed. But eventually, he does get Benki flushed. But Kinnikuman takes his clothes off to clog Benki Man, which lets him get out. He's just like buck naked in the ring, and then he beats Benki Man. He makes Benki Man overflow.
Does he crap himself out of fear again?
I was
Then
gonna say that
Banky
would be
Man?
great.
No, but Benki Man's successor in Nisei, who I forget his name, but he's based on like a bidet. Montero does beat that guy by crapping in him. It's actually really disgusting.
I can tell that this was written by high school students.
Yeah. Benki Man's done. So next we have the semifinals. We have Warsman versus Ramen Man. So basically, Ramen Man just can't, because Ramen Man, let himself get brutalized, he's already, super sore, because he was getting slammed into concrete and stuff in the last round. Mm-hmm. So he really can't hang with Warsman, and so he eventually, gets out of the ring and is just going to surrender. But Warsman has already started doing his screwdriver towards Ramen Man. And so Ramen Man, who has already surrendered at this point, holds up the bell to try and stop the screwdriver, but Warsman screwdrivers through it and impales Ramen Man in the brain, and he is a vegetable for the next few arcs.
Oh, man.
And so Warsman wins.
You're
Does he
feeling
smile?
bad for Ramen Man.
He probably does, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of sucks. And next we have Kinnikuman versus Wolfman. Because this is the whole Japanese pride match, they agree to have a sumo match. And Wolfman kind of almost tries to play dirty by telling Kinnikuman his fly is down. And then he goes to throw Kinnikuman, but because Kinnikuman was moving around in such an erratic way, he steps out of the ring himself when he goes to throw Kinnikuman, and he loses.
That's kind of like original Kinnikuman, first couple of issues,
Yes.
just screwing up to win.
Yeah, they reference Kinnikuman's kind of they do reference that a few times. In the next arc, there's a really good fight that kind of uses that as a theme. And so we get to the finals: Kinnikuman versus Warsman. You can see in the top right there, that's the Apollo special.
Yeah.
And on the bottom there, that's a brand new move.
The Kinniku Buster.
Oh, he busted them! Oh!
Yeah, so they have a mask removal death match. Whoever removes the other's mask first lose. Or, like, you know, if you get demasked, you lose. But not only will Kinnikuman lose the match if he gets demasked, but it is Planet Kinniku tradition that if a royal is ever demasked after the mask is first put on them when they're a baby, they have to kill themselves. So Kinnikuman's literal life is on the line here. Warsman, not so much, but Kinnikuman's cool with that because he's a good guy.
So that's a mask that he has a mask on?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing
it's
right
actually
now.
implied that under his mask, he's actually incredibly handsome.
Okay, I was like, daggone.
Yep. And so Kinnikuman has to he is not confident he can beat Warsman. And so he decides he needs to make a new finishing move. And so he makes a new move that is supposed to be the culmination of the 48 killing moves, bringing all of their explosive power into one move. During this fight, we are also revealed that Mr. Barracuda, the guy who trained Warsman, is actually Robin Mask.
What?
And this whole thing, taking in Warsman as a pupil, making him the most brutal man imaginable, teaching him to do the Palo specials so that he can because Kinnikuman sucks against submission holds.
Uh-huh.
All of this was his way to try and bring back the pride of the Robin dynasty. This was his revenge.
What? That's such a freaking awesome twist.
Yeah. One of the, it's not in 2011, but it's one of the chapters they released between the original series and 2011 is actually a backstory of when Robin Mask first took Warsman under his wing, because it's Warsman is in the awful Siberian facility he's in, where they kind of create Robo Choujin and turn them into monsters, and Warsman, after seeing his friend die there, breaks out and he's wandering the Siberian wilderness, about to die, and then he just happens upon the also vagabond at this point Robin Mask, and then Robin Mask takes him under his wing, and then because he's not supposed to be in the Choujin world anymore, that's why he uses the Mr. Barracuda disguise. But eventually, Kinnikuman, with his burning inner strength, does escape from Warsman's Palo special, and Warsman's computer overheats, and there's smoke coming out of him. And then he takes Warsman and catches him on his back. You've probably seen this move if you know actual pro wrestling, and uses the culmination of the 48 killer moves, the Kinniku Buster. Here's the thing about the Kinniku Buster. You're probably familiar with Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster.
Yeah.
What you might not be familiar with is, unlike most of the wrestling references in Kinnikuman, the Kinniku Buster came first. As the story goes, Samoa Joe was doing a show in Japan, and Kinnikuman happened to be on TV, and he just saw the Kinniku Buster and was like, I can use that.
Hell yeah.
That's the official story. I actually think Samoa Joe is just a weeb who actually likes Kinnikuman.
Yeah.
I think that's way more likely.
Yeah.
But yes, the Kinniku Buster is an awesome move. It gets referenced in a million different things. I think literally every fighting game that I can think of has a Kinniku Buster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
King does the Kinniku Buster. Rainbow Mika does the Kinniku Buster. Who's the big? Potemkin does the Kinniku
Yeah.
Buster. It's
It's such a cool move.
it is,
Yeah.
and it's supposed.
It's really tough to pull off. Look at
Yeah,
that.
it's actually banned in actual WWE wrestling.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah,
that'll
yeah.
snap your neck. In universe, it's supposed to be a thigh splitter, back breaker, and neck breaker combined into one.
yeah.
In real life, it's
It's
just
a killer.
it's just a neck breaker, and that kills people. Yes, Kinnikuman is the new champion, and this arc happens immediately after Kinnikuman wins. They're all celebrating. They're throwing Kinnikuman in the air, hip hip hooray, and they finally throw him super high in the air. And while they're doing that, Mayumi and Harabote are having their usual bickering, and Harabote is like, yeah, he might have beat these goodies, but you got to remember, there were those 7 guys who we had to seal away because they were so powerful and so evil. And so while Kinnikuman's in the air, he farts, propelling him into space, where he collides with a satellite, releasing those 7 sealed Choujin, the 7 Devil Choujin. And now, and then their leader, Buffalo Man, rams his horn into meat, splitting him into a bunch of pieces. And so now Kinnikuman and the other Justice Choujin must go and fight all the Devil Choujin to get the parts of meat back.
How is he not dead?
I don't know. It's weird cartoon logic.
It's almost like some Greek mythology crap right now.
It kind of is. It's sort of like a Hercules thing.
Yeah.
But they do say that if you don't get meat back, if you don't put him back together before a certain time limit, he will just be dead. Mm-hmm. So let's be introduced to our new antagonists. the Mountain. From Mount Everest, he weighs a metric ton, 1,000 kilograms. His signature move is the Mountain Drop, where he drops himself on you. He weighs a ton.
He could just fall.
Yes. Next up, we have Mr. Kamen. He's from Egypt. Unlike King Cobra, he is actually snake-themed. In that, like, he kind of mummifies people by wrapping them up, and then he sticks his giant straw in and, like, sucks their blood out.
That sounds like a spider, not a snake.
Snakes bite. I don't know.
They don't suck blood, though.
Well, is that kind of like the thing with mummification? Though?
Yeah, it's like you
they
drain
would, like,
the, like...
scoop, like, your brain out your nose and crap like
Okay,
that.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, he's Egyptian. Signature move is like the mummy package where he like wraps you up and does all that. Oh yeah, he also can do like the Medusa thing where like his glare can like freeze you.
Okay.
So, you know, he's kind of one of the more like magical fighters.
Yeah, that's pretty good for snake theming and Egyptian theming and all that.
Next we have Black Hole.
Oh,
He's from the Bermuda Triangle, and he's actually
also.
Yeah, he's the cousin of Pentagon.
I look like Pentagon.
Yeah, so they also have a backstory, which I'm not as familiar with as most of them, but I believe it was like Pentagon got like beat up a lot as a kid, and Black Hole had to like bail him out, and like in some like roundabout way, this led to Black Hole having this might makes right mentality of like, oh, if you're strong and you can beat people, like people like not be bad to you. And Pentagon kind of got this whole like, I need to be like a better person to like become stronger and more chivalrous so I can do for others what Black Hole did for me. So Black Hole's not, I mean, he is evil, but like, he's less evil than most of the Devil Choujin.
He's lawful evil.
Yeah, fair. He believes in fairness, sort of. And much like Pentagon, he's very much a space-time gimmick fighter. Like his like big hole on his face, he can suck people in, put them in like an alternate dimension.
What the heck?
Cool guy. Stakase King.
Bro,
He is a
he's
stereo
HVAC
cassette.
player.
His gimmick is that like he has a bunch of tapes of various Choujin, and he can put those tapes in himself, and then he like has the power and techniques of that Choujin. And he has a bunch of different tapes.
It's blackmail of them saying racist stuff 5 issues ago.
Oh yeah, another thing he can do is his feet are speakers, so he can like attach his feet onto people's ears and just play like such loud sounds that like you die. Obviously, as you can probably imagine, Devil Choujin are by default brutal Choujin.
Yeah.
But I was about to say, like, it's just funny because I didn't expect a guy to look like this. Whenever
He looks kind
like,
of goofy. Yeah, he's got like his backpack that all the tapes are in.
this is ridiculous.
Next we have Atlantis.
Bro.
He's from the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. He's an aquatic Choujin where like he always fights in like water-themed rings, and his whole strategy is to like pressure you with his water magnum where he like shoots water out of his mouth until he can take you in the water where he finishes you off. Yeah. He's based on an archer fish.
Why didn't you put a picture of the archer fish?
Because he is one. I think this guy is
That's what they
really
look like in
Yeah.
the real world.
cool. Yeah.
Even with those legs?
Yes. This is one of my favorite designs. I think this guy's really
Yeah,
cool.
It is really
he'd
cool
be like perfect for a fighting game.
Oh yeah, there are Kinnikuman fighting games. Well, they're like wrestling games. They play like the WWE.
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Which is fine by me.
Oh yeah.
Bro, we need to play that.
I have SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. I think it's amazing.
Play it.
Next we have Spring Man. He's based on a sling.
Whoa.
He's
I
Greek.
didn't know we were watching Mega Man.
Yeah, no.
Funny. We'll get to that. So this is like one of the 2 Mega Man references I said we would have in the future. So he's from Greece. His whole thing is he absorbs shock, and then like he can like compress and like hit people with like a lot of built up force. And also, this character, you have to understand, Kinnikuman is a lot bigger in Japan than it is in America. Like it's actually culturally somewhat significant.
Yeah.
So Springman is the actual reason why Min Min was the ARMS character put into Smash Bros. Instead of the actual main character of ARMS, Springman. Because in Japan, if you Google Springman, like Sakurai actually just straight up said, yeah, if you Google Springman, you get this guy.
Yeah.
And then in America, if you Google Springman, you get the Robot Master.
Yeah.
So he's an
All
interesting character. And finally, we have the leader of the bunch, Buffalo Man.
Street Fighter? What?
Does he look like a Street Fighter character? I don't think he looks like a Street
No, like, isn't the The main evil guy?
No, he doesn't look like
No, he doesn't look like
M. Bison
Bison.
looks more like
Oh,
Rocket Man.
Bison, that's his name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Never mind.
okay. I thought you were talking about the design of the character. I was like,
No.
M. Bison looks more like
Anyways.
Rocket Man.
Buffalo Man is Spanish. He is based on like matadors, Raging Bulls, all that.
Sick.
His theme song's amazing too.
Yeah, they use like
Let's
flamenco
go and listen
guitar
to
in
it.
his theme
Yeah.
song. Anyways, power levels were introduced into Kinnikuman, and by extension, all of shonen manga and anime, because this was the first one to do it, specifically to hype this guy up. When we retroactively see what all of the characters thus far's power level is, the Choujin Kyodo is what it's called. Almost everyone hovers around 1 million. Canadian Man's at 2 million. I mentioned earlier he was stronger than all the other guys. But everyone else hovers around 1 million. Buffalo Man has 10 million power. Because these guys are called the Devil Choujin for a reason. Buffalo Man sold, not his soul in a weird way, but he sold all of his blood to the devil to get his 10 million power. And also that's he doesn't take damage. If he gets a wound, it doesn't hurt him. He does not feel pain because
There's no
because
blood
he's
to bleed.
yeah, because he sold his blood. He does all of the wounds and injuries he ever takes go straight into his horns, which are kind of the source of his power in a way. And so he can impale people with his horns and put wounds that he took earlier throughout his whole career of killing people into them to damage them.
What the heck?
His signature move is the Hurricane Mixer, where he charges you with his horns, and when he impales you, he twists his head and throws you in the air, so you're spinning in the air. Mm-hmm. And then he has a variation later on called the Hurricane Mixer Special, where he just does that, and he'll catch you again and throw you up again. He just keeps doing that. He's modeled after Bruiser Brody, who is an actual wrestler. Mm-hmm. And actually, a similar thing is because Bruiser Brody usually tag teams with smaller, more technique-based guys, Buffalo Man does the same and usually tag teams with smaller dudes.
I love this series.
Yeah.
So first we have Kinnikuman versus Stakase King. So you can kind of see, Warsman immediately, again, they have to make a previous strong guy job to build them up. So Stakase King does his tons of very loud attack on Warsman to knock him out. To be they beat the old antagonist, so they're really tough.
How does Kinnikuman survive it here?
I think he just wasn't listening. Oh wait, no.
His ears were
They
so dirty or something.
they mess with the radio tower, so he doesn't get signal, so he can't blast his music in Kinnikuman's ear because there's nothing to blast. So then he starts going with his tapes. So he puts in Robin Mask's tape and starts busting out the Tower Bridge. He'll put in Warsman's tape and he'll also subtly change when he puts in Warsman's tape he'll get the Warsman smile on his face.
Okay, I like that.
That's pretty sick.
And so Kinnikuman basically overcomes these attacks in the same way that he did before. Because he's not the loser he was before. He knows how to get out of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Until Stakase King decides if you can't beat him, join him, and he breaks out his Kinnikuman tape. Turns out this tape is outdated. This is from before Kinnikuman was taught how to wrestle. Stakase King becomes completely incompetent, and Kinnikuman finishes him off easily.
That's great.
You played yourself.
Yep. Next we have Kinnikuman versus Black Hole. So this is before the rest of the Justice Choujin join in. So this is just Kinnikuman thinks he has to take them all on himself. So he immediately goes to Black Hole, where basically Kinnikuman gets sucked in the hole, and the big crux of the fight is can he escape the 4D realm inside Black Hole's black hole? And he uses the push of his farts. He builds up so much gas that he implodes the 4D universe and escapes. And then Black Hole, he does other stuff where he makes space-time clones of himself and all that. But it's really when he gets his dimension broken out of that he's super dazed and stuff, and Kinnikuman just elbow drops on him, finishing him off. So next we have Wolfman versus Springman. This is actually a very short fight. Wolfman is constantly doing his palm strikes on Springman, but because he's a spring, he just absorbs all the impact, and then he does his finishing move, the Devil Slinky, where he just materializes stairs out of nowhere. He starts at the top and he slinkies down them, building up more and more force until he lands on Wolfman, and then he like goes around him and compresses so hard that he just makes Wolfman explode. Wolfman is dead.
Goodbye. This devil slinky.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Next we have Brocken Jr. versus Mr. Common. So the whole thing is that Common is like invisible, and so like Brocken Jr. like intentionally bloodies himself so he can like spray blood on Mr. Common so he can see him. And so Common decides to take away his visibility another way by putting like this giant like smoke screen and like pyramid thing over the ring so no one can see what's going on. It's completely dark inside, which actually ends up being his undoing, because when he does that, another Choujin gets to sneak in and assist Brocken Jr. in escaping from Common's mummy wrap. And then they get out, and yeah, basically the pyramid goes away, and just like Common is, and you see like Common is the one who is like wrapped up under the ring, like he gets wrapped in his own move.
Huh.
But who is this mysterious Choujin who helped Brocken Jr.? It's Mongol Man.
Wait, is he actually related to...
We don't know who he is. He's wearing a mask.
Yeah, he's a mysterious masked man. Who could he possibly be?
I don't know. He's a cousin.
He's something. Next we have Robin Mask versus Atlantis. So I kind of explained how this fight goes when I was doing Atlantis' character bio. Like, Atlantis is like putting on the pressure with the water magnum, and then eventually Robin does ground Atlantis. Like, he does like get Atlantis out of the water in the middle of the ring, and he's like really beating him up. But then Atlantis takes like his piece of meat that he had and just chucks it in the water, and so Robin Mask has to go in after it. Then Atlantis follows in after Robin Mask, and they actually don't show like how the fight ends. They're just like, oh, like you just see like the perspective of a bunch of guys watching the match being like, I guess whoever surfaces first is the winner, until you see Robin Mask's mask surface.
His mask? Or him?
Yeah, it's him.
Because it was actually the victorious Atlantis carrying Robin's mask! Robin Mask is dead! Again!
No! Not real this time, I swear!
I told you Robin jobs for a while. Next we have Terry Man versus the Mountain.
So stupid.
So Terry Man basically just dodges the mountain because the mountain like weighs so much. When he falls and misses, he really hurts himself. And also, they're doing this over a mountain range, a lot like Kinnikuman and Robin Mask's fight from the American Tour arc.
Yeah.
And so eventually, when the mountain decides he can't... Oh yeah, Terry Man is a brain buster where he like slams Mountain's head into like a corner pole with all of his weight behind it. So that's... And the Mountain at that point decides, I can't win this fight. So he just slams the ring as hard as he can and just makes the entire ring fall into the mountain range, resulting in a double KO. Next we have... Warsman versus Buffalo Man. So Warsman does do a good job standing up. He's better now. He's not incapacitated anymore.
Okay, yeah.
And so Warsman does his best against Buffalo Man, but Buffalo Man's 10 million power is just too much for Warsman to handle. He ends up overheating, like Buffalo Man like shrugs off the Apollo special, like he just stands up.
Yeah.
And then like Warsman stands back up, and then like Buffalo Man is like, all right, but you're overheated. You literally can't move. And he starts walking away. And then Warsman comes back alive and does his screwdriver right into Buffalo Man and cuts off. But like Buffalo Man notices at the last minute, he like moves his head out of the way. But he does get one of his two horns nicked off. But then like after that, Warsman really is like just done. He's overheated. He can't do anything.
Yeah. Does this take away some of Buffalo Man's power then, technically?
Yes.
Okay. Is he still...
Well, no, he still has all of his power, but if both horns get broken, he loses.
Okay, so he's still 10 million, though.
Yeah,
but
he's still 10 million.
Just less to take him down now. Okay.
Yes. Also, Warsman is also dead now.
Okay. R.I.P.
Rip.
So, there's a bit of in-between here where Kinnikuman, like, he just got back from, like, all the injuries he took in the first two fights, and he's wondering where all his friends are. And then he sees, like, a, like, bloodied and, like, brutalized, like, Brocken Jr., like, wobble towards him with, like, a piece of meat on him. And he's like, where's the rest of you guys? Like, where's Robin Mask? Where's Terry Man? And then, like, Brock is just like, oh, no.
Oh.
And Kinniku, like, they play this sad song called See You Again, Hero in the anime. It's actually a really, like, somber song where, like, Kinnikuman thinks a lot of his friends are dead.
Oh,
Wow.
But then as it turns out, Terry Man survived, and he comes out and Terry Man's theme starts playing, the Texas Bronco. And he's got, like, all these meat pieces on him. The other guys are still dead, though, but Terry Man's dead.
A world with Terry Man's a better place. That's all we need.
So, Terry Man is back, and now Kinnikuman has renewed confidence to take out the remainder of the Devil Choujin, where he starts fighting Atlantis. So, Atlantis, actually, Kinnikuman, like, makes quick work of Atlantis. The main thing about this fight is actually how it ends, where, like, Buffalo Man is watching, and when he's, like, already sure that Atlantis is going to lose, he just wants to see the Kinniku Buster so he can start thinking of ways to beat it. So he's like, hey, Kinnikuman, bet you can't finish Atlantis with the Kinniku Buster, and then he uses the Kinniku Buster. And that's how he ends it. He beats Atlantis with the Kinniku Buster. But Buffalo Man's like, well, now I got a plan. I know what to do now. Leading it, also but now Kinnikuman is the only Justice Choujin left. Terry Man and Brocken Jr. are too beat up to fight.
It's kind of cool that this also shows that Buffalo Man sees something that's a threat in Kinnikuman too.
Yeah.
So
It's like the first time Kinnikuman gets taken seriously right off the bat.
Yeah.
And so now, since Kinnikuman's the only one really left to fight, he has to 1v2 when we see Kinnikuman versus the Diablos, which is the tag team of Buffalo Man and Spring Man. So, like, yeah, Buffalo Man will, like, do a thing where he'll, like, load Spring Man up on his arm and, like, fling him at you, like, as his attack. But very quickly, very early on in the match, Mongol Man shows up and just, like, flying leg lariats Spring Man right... Okay, so they set up both of the remaining pieces of meat, like, on these glass containers on both sides of the ring. And, like, Mongol Man, like, kicks Spring Man into, like, one of the containers, busting out that piece and knocking out Spring Man.
Oh, wow.
But then Mongol Man leaves. Like, for some reason, Mongol Man can't be around for full fights. He's just not, he doesn't have the endurance for it. So now we just have Kinnikuman versus Buffalo Man. So Kinnikuman gets Buffalo Man requests the Kinniku Buster, and so Kinnikuman gets him in it, but then Buffalo Man, just with his incredible core strength, just turns it upside down and just lands in his own Buster from Kinnikuman's hold.
Bro.
So Kinnikuman is like, what do I do? I'll tell you what he does. He remembers he can fly. What? No, he uses... Okay, they're actually not allowed... They can fly when they're fighting, like, monsters and stuff, but they're actually not allowed to fly when they're in the ring. They can also turn giant, but again, they're not allowed to do that in the ring. No, Kinnikuman uses his burning inner strength that he goes for the Kinniku Buster again, and when Buffalo Man reverses it and turns it upside down, Kinnikuman says, well, we're not going down, we're going up, and he lands his Kinniku Buster on the ceiling with the Neo Kinniku.
Oh,
Heck yeah!
that's actually really cool.
We're not going down. That's great.
I like that he's like stubborn and like using it like over and
Yeah.
over. That's very like wrestling right there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like how Brock Lesnar just F5 everybody
But this is
down.
not... But unlike Warsman, the Kinniku Buster is not enough to finish off Buffalo Man. So they have another clash in midair, and they're constantly, like, going back and forth. I think this is it. No. Before that, when Buffalo Man falls to the ground, he like crashes horn first into the ring, and so like his horn is like one
Yeah, it's
horn
crumbling
left.
in that frame right there.
Yeah, it's like starting to break, and it's like stuck in the ring. So literally, Kinnikuman just has to like push him to beat him. But doing that will cause Buffalo Man to suffer all of his 1,000 wounds that are in him all at once, and it will definitely kill him. And Kinnikuman does not want to kill, so he picks Buffalo Man up gently out of the mat, and it just says, "Hey, let's keep going." And this kind of like wins Buffalo Man over. He starts softening. And he's like, "This is a fair fight. This is a lot of fun. This is the most exhilarating match I've ever had, even though I'm like not in control and doing extreme power." So if you'll remember, Buffalo Man did sell all of his blood to the devil. So Satan is not happy that Buffalo Man is becoming a good guy. So he just straight up possesses Buffalo Man through his horn. And like he turns all red.
Kinnikuman has to pin the devil.
Yeah, no, Kinnikuman wrestles against Satan.
Oh my god.
He fights Buffalo Man in his devil buffalo form. And so they have...
Holy crap.
And so they have like this final conflict where like they have like this big air thing where they're constantly reversing each other's moves. Like Kinnikuman gets him in the Kinniku Buster, Buffalo Man reverses it. Kinnikuman goes for something else. And like while they're doing that, Buffalo Man is having so much fun having a fair fight that he shrugs off his possession and just surrenders. He just walks away.
Bruh.
Well, Kinnikuman does like win that air exchange, like he lands his Kinniku Buster.
Yeah.
But like Buffalo Man, like he does survive it, but he's just like, you win, I'm done. Like this is dumb.
Love it.
Here, you can have meat back. Actually, Buffalo Man like breaks off his other horn and throws it at the other container to free the last part of meat. And then he just leaves, like solemnly.
Oh, I guess since he managed to get out of the possession from Satan, he just doesn't have the curse anymore of the horn?
Not really. He's going to die.
Oh, okay.
So, but while he's walking away, there's a thing they introduce where like if you have enough power level that's equal to a dead person, you can just bring them back from the dead. So Buffalo Man has enough power to bring back the 3 dead Choujin, Wolfman, Warsman, and Robin Mask. So they're all back alive again, and like Buffalo Man's like on his last legs. He's got no power left, and Satan just like because he's pissed off, he psychically throws a girder that impales Buffalo Man's heart, and Buffalo Man dies. But before he does that, before that happens, like before Buffalo Man like walks off and then gets impaled, they have like a heart-to-heart with like Kinnikuman and the Justice Choujin, where they, for like the last 10 minutes of Buffalo Man's life, he is a Justice Choujin.
Love it.
Yeah.
Redemption!
He's great. But he's dead. Also, maybe there's supposed to be a metaphor here or something. That's an acne breakout from steroid use. Also, it's an excuse for me to show Buffalo Man's Devil Buffalo form.
Yeah.
So it's cool. So after this, a little bit after,
Beautiful Joe shows up.
Beautiful Joe. Mayumi, the king, is just like Kinnikuman. One of the like Kinniku royal treasures has gone missing. The golden mask. There used to be a golden mask and a silver mask that were the treasures of the Kinniku family. And the golden mask went missing, and we don't know why. Until we find out that it's actually another team of Devil Choujin who stole it. These are the even higher up guys. Like they were like 7 Devil Choujin, weak sauce. We are the 6 Devil Knights, and one of us, they have like all these fake golden masks that you see in this like picture here, and they're like, you're gonna have to fight all of us, and only one of us has the real mask. And so, and because they somehow like psychically or whatever trap all the Choujin other than Kinnikuman in like these bubbles. So like all the other Choujin are useless, but they give what little power they have to Kinnikuman through friendship power or whatever.
Okay.
So Kinnikuman has to start fighting all of the Devil Knights.
So at this point, friendship power is like definitely a thing.
Yes.
Okay, alright.
So let's get introduced to our antagonists. Oh yeah, also the Devil Knights just outright beheaded like all the Devil Choujin. Like they died, they went to hell, and then the Devil Knights just like cut their heads off and like for losing.
Okay.
And they like have a panel of like all of them like holding up the heads and stuff.
Dang, bro.
So let's get introduced to our guys. This is Junkman from Australia. His gimmick is really straightforward. He is a junk crusher. He crushes you. He's tough.
He's gonna get you.
This is Planet Man from the North Pole.
I like his design.
That's really cool.
Yep. So technically his moon face is actually a mask because his actual like planet head, because you know his body's made up of a bunch of different planets.
Yeah.
His actual planet head is like planet Vulcan, which is not a fictional planet, but it's like a hypothetical one. It's like in a different galaxy or something.
I love how Saturn's ring is one of his.
Yeah, he has like a Saturn ring that's like his projectile. And that's kind of his signature move, is throwing his ring around. And like later on, he can make other characters like appear on his like planets, and it's kind of like voodoo, where like if Warsman's head is like on his shoulder planet, and you hit that, then like Warsman like gets hurt.
He's just like a straight up video game character.
That's
really.
crazy.
Yeah, kind of. Next we have Sneagator.
Whoa.
He's half sneaker, half alligator. He's Sneagator.
I freaking love him.
What are his elephant ears then? If he's part sneaker, what are those?
That's a very good question.
I like how he's wearing the sneakers.
Yeah, he's wearing sneakers.
Those are like the tongue of the sneaker
Why?
that you pull.
Oh yeah, that is what that is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so he was actually the guy who taught the 7 Devil Choujin from the previous arc. He was their teacher. that
Sneaky.
doesn't make any difference at all. Like, they kind of like
But just so you know.
in the 2011 series, they kind of like show some like respect for him later on.
His chest is the laces.
Yeah, it's just as the
Also on
laces.
his head,
And so
yeah.
he can turn into a bunch of different reptiles. And he also has this weird thing where he can turn like certain inanimate objects into reptiles, but that's with a gimmick in his fight that like Kinnikuman kind of beats. Next we have the ninja.
Yeah.
From Japan. Okay, so the ninja was actually once a human, and then he became a justice Choujin, and then some really awful stuff happened because like all of his clan just like got slaughtered, and he just kind of was like, all right, I'm evil now. He just like lost all like hope in humanity and all that.
You can become a Choujin.
Yes, humans can become Choujin.
That is very Hercules then. That's cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, it's very Hercules because like there are like Choujin gods, and like they are the ones who like let humans become Choujin.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not the only time it happens.
like you have to earn the respect of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so he's probably the shit.
He's okay.
Oh.
But because of this, he has a strong sense of loyalty, if to the wrong side. And because deep down he's not like pure evil, he sometimes returns as like an anti-hero. And his signature move is like he can like do this like really fast movement where whatever hold you have him in, he just quickly like switches your position, so he can just like have you in the move you had him in. Next we have Sunshine from Peru. He is a sand monster. He is a giant pyramid dude. He can like reform his body in different shapes because he's just all sand. And he's awesome. He's a reoccurring villain. Him and the guy who I'm going to introduce right after him like reoccur in the series a lot. They're very popular reoccurring villains. They happen, like, they'll come back after this arc in this series. They're in Nisei, they're in 2011, and like, oh yeah, and his big thing is like the sand roller, where like, he gets like a little crusher thing in his chest, and he tries to like feed you into it. And that's kind of his thing. Also, the best thing about Sunshine, I think, in the entire Kinnikuman franchise, is in Nisei, he's an old man who is just this like alcoholic boomer who is just like, he sees like the new like Devil Choujin teams like the DMP and the Demon Seed, who are like, those are the two Devil Choujin arcs in Nisei, and he's just like getting drunk, just like, those guys ain't shit.
He's the cranky phone.
Yeah. He does actually have a pretty here, I'll go. I actually have Boomer Sunshine in this. He actually does have like a kind of wholesome moment where like his usual tag team partner like ends up being one of the guys who's like in the villain team, and he literally like swims across the ocean to go watch him wrestle. And who is that person? Ashura Man.
Whoa.
He's ethnically Indian, but technically he was just born in hell. He is like the demon prince guy. He's based on the Ashura in mythology.
Yeah.
And his big gimmick is he has 3 faces. He has the laughing face, what is the other one? Yeah, he has the laughing face, the cold-blooded face, and the rage face. And like he can switch between them depending on like what he needs. His laughing face is his usual personality where he's very cocky and confident in himself. The cold-blooded face is when he needs to be like super serious, and the rage is just when he needs brute strength. He has 6 arms, and that's important because a lot of what he does is he will see his opponent's move, and he will just use the fact that he has more arms to improve upon it.
Yeah,
thus giving
he'd be
him,
like borderline impossible to pin because you can't get around
Yes.
all that. Yeah.
which leads to him having the signature move that he uses the most in this series, the Ashura Buster, which is just a Kinniku Buster enhanced by having more arms to hold you in place.
Yeah, and more grip where you can't get out.
Yes.
Okay. That's kind of a cool idea
And
for
he usually,
wrestling.
yeah, and because he has like multiple arms, they're all really strong. He can like shoot tornadoes at you, and that's usually how he like sets up the Ashura Busters. He knocks you in the air with the tornado, then he like jumps up and sets it
He
up.
would be great to have in fight.
He is probably the most recurring villain in the series. Yude Tamago clearly loves him. The fan base loves him. He's a great villain.
Yeah, no,
And he's one of the-
that's an amazing concept.
Yeah, and
for
his
a
design
wrestling
is
anime.
super cool too.
Yeah, yeah.
And so let's get started with the matches. Kinnikuman versus Sneagator.
Oh my god.
Whoa!
Oh yeah. So Sneagator can like turn like chairs and stuff into like reptiles, but Kinnikuman just stops that by like blocking the projector, which the projector was how he did that. And then Kinnikuman catches Sneagator, grabs both sides of his mouth, and does the mouth-ripping Kinniku Buster and tears Sneagator in half. But Sneagator can like turn into other reptile forms, and so he goes through a bunch of those that Kinnikuman also has to defeat until his final form is just like this giant hand. this giant like reptile hand. And
Severed
Kinnikuman
hand.
like grabs him by his finger and suplexes him, and that's how he wins the fight.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Next we have Kinnikuman versus Planet Man. And like Planet Man kind of like, he's throwing the rings and like he has cold planets on his legs, so when he puts you in a leg lock, he like freezes you. And he eventually, like when Kinnikuman starts to overcome him, he puts like all of Kinnikuman's friends on his planet and is like, well, you can't do anything about that. But Warsman just straight up says, yo, Kinnikuman, I'm over his heart, just do it, man.
Whoa.
And so Kinnikuman makes Planet Man's ring hit him and suplexes him for a victory. And so also, it was Planet Man who made all those bubbles appear, so now all the other Justice Choujin can do stuff.
Okay.
Except Warsman.
Yeah, because Warsman just got dagged.
Yeah, so he's knocked out. And so, the remaining Devil Knights flee into they shrink down and they flee into Warsman's cybernetic body, where Warsman's spine is like a layered 4-ring tower.
Bro!
He was designed well.
And so, the Justice Choujin,
Wrestling is in his DNA.
it really is. He's a Robo Choujin.
Yeah.
He was. You'll eventually see Warsman's dad was like just a normal Choujin, and then he intentionally became a robot. So like that's a thing you can do. Is he probably is built for battle. But anyways, the Justice Choujin follow suit, and they have a newcomer named Geronimo who goes in with them.
Okay.
That's random.
And so, Kinnikuman has like the silver mask, because the silver mask can like shine a light on the fake golden masks and discern which one's the real one. So he's like watching all of his friends fight all the other knights, and then like when they get the mask
And
on,
he knows like which fight to get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we got a character bio for Geronimo. He's Native American. He's named after Geronimo, like the real Geronimo, and he's not a Choujin. He is actually a human.
Huh.
He's just really strong-willed, and that's like kind of why his power wasn't really drained all that much. It's because he wasn't a Choujin, so he didn't get locked up. His signature move is the Apache war cry, where he just yells so loud that he just disables his enemy. He goes like, "Urara!" And he also, he has a lot of chops. And, the Apache war cry is, no one has ever, beaten it in the series. He's kind of like Krillin, where he just has this move that is stupid overpowered.
But it doesn't get used a whole lot.
Yeah, he doesn't use it
He's
enough
just
to
never
win.
present for a bunch of really big fights.
Destructo disc!
Yeah, no, it really is. The Apache war cry is like the old Destructo disc.
Yeah.
So we have Robin Mask versus Junkman. So Robin Mask's armor is barely strong enough to withstand Junkman's Junk Crusher. But Warsman can't really get in edgewise, and also, so Junkman, because he can't break Robin Mask's armor, Junkman just starts going after Warsman's spine, and because, Robin Mask cares about Warsman. So he takes his armor off so he can, move fast enough to, block the attack. And he gets crushed, but he catches, oh wait, no, never mind. He gets crushed with his armor on, and then he slips out to escape the Junk Crush.
Okay.
And so...
And that's how he gets out of his armor, basically.
Yeah, that's how he gets out of his armor. And then, Junkman does some other stuff, he can shoot spikes out of things other than his Crusher arms. But then Robin realizes, oh wait, Junkman can, only attack forward. So he gets up behind them and starts doing that. And so Junkman eventually does catch Robin and tosses him in the air and, plans to, crush him when he falls down. Sorry, they both go up in the air. But Robin catches Junkman in, a tower bridge pose in midair and lands upside down. Because, Robin has, that spike on his helmet. He just, goes right into the mat. And that's how he finishes off Junkman.
Sick.
Next we have Brocken Jr. versus the Ninja.
What in the hell is going on in that frame up top?
That is, the Ninja's, grabbing the ropes and, quickly throwing them to, wrap up Brocken.
Dang.
And so, everything Brocken tries to do to the Ninja, he reverses with, his jutsu. But then Brocken Jr. starts to adapt, and Brocken Jr. eventually is able to do the same thing. So when the Ninja, ties Brocken up in all the ropes, Brocken does that move and gets the Ninja tied up in there. And then, let's see, what happens? Oh yeah, the Ninja, sets the ring on fire. He pours oil everywhere and sets everything on fire. And, he has, a bunch of mats he can, lay down on the ring to, change the terrain. He, turns it into a volcano. And so, it's sort of and this ends
So
sort
is it kind of like magic at this point from the Ninja with,
the
all
Ninja's
his
theme
stuff?
song is literally Japanese magic, so,
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like, they explain, like, his, like, swap thing is, like, he's moving really fast, but really it's magic. But, it kind of ends in a similar way to the Atlantis fight, where, like, you don't know who won until it's already over. In that, like, when they come out of the volcano, it's just 2 Brocken Juniors. And then one of them gets impaled on like, Junkman's spikes. They fall to the ring below where Robin Mask was fighting Junkman. One of the 2 falls on Junkman's spikes and is impaled, and they're like, well, which one's the real Brocken Jr.? And, like, Brocken Jr.'s, like, hat starts falling down, and then it, like, falls on the one that, like, Robin Mask caught, and that was the real Brocken Jr., the one who fell on Junkman.
It's, like,
was
randomly, like, kind of artsy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he also said, like, oh, his hat has, like, a radio that lets it, seek out.
Yeah, okay.
We were giving it too much credit.
Yeah. Next we have Terry Man versus Ashura Man.
Whoa.
This is a really cool fight.
Like, he has, like, a bunch of... His arms are all different.
Yeah, so Ashura Man can, like, change his arms to, like, steal arms from other people. So he just starts the fight by just taking the 7 Devil Choujin from the previous arc and just taking their arms.
Yeah.
Except, for some reason... And then eventually he takes Terry Man's arms, so Terry Man can't use his arms. Until eventually... Terry Man does, like, eventually is able to, like, reach up and, like, grab something to prevent him from getting Ashura busted. And Ashura Man is like, how? You don't have arms. And then, like, you look at Terry Man's arms, and it's Buffalo Man's arms. Because Ashura Man was never able to take Buffalo Man's arms. Because he was a Justice Choujin.
Oh, wow.
So then, Warsman starts to malfunction, and the only way to stop it is, like, oh yeah, Terry Man, like, does, like, the calf branding and, like, slams Ashura Man on, like, a control unit. And so Warsman starts to malfunction. And so Terry Man has to, like, willingly take an Ashura Buster to the same, like, control unit. Mm-hmm. And so he does that. And that's when he, like, gets the Buffalo Man arms. And, like, Geronimo, like, throws a tomahawk, and that's what he grabs onto. And then, like, after they're, like, they're completely out of the mat at this point, and, like, Terry Man just, like, takes Ashura Man completely out of the ring, goes all the way down all the stories with his calf branding to finish off Ashura Man. But Terry Man is also knocked out, and so they're kind of both knocked out at this point.
Freaking Terry.
Yes.
Are there any of the 6 left at this point? Is that...
No, that was the last one, and
Okay.
it turns out the mask that Ashura Man had was the real one.
Yeah.
But then Ashura Man, like, stands back up and he starts leaving Warsman. And so eventually, like, they're not going to make it out in time because they're, like, growing back to normal size. But then Warsman starts crying and they escape through his tear ducts. He's worried about his friends. And so now...
Friendship!
And so now, the Golden Mask, the real one, assumes its true... Oh, never mind. We have Geronimo versus Sunshine. I forgot about that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So Geronimo opens with chops, but because Sunshine is made of sand, can't really do much until eventually, like, Sunshine body presses Geronimo and starts draining his moisture with the sand. You can kind of tell that, like, Oda got, like, crocodiles, like sand draining your moisture through this. Mm-hmm. And so eventually Geronimo uses his Apache war cry and just blows away all of Geronimo's sand. Like, you can see him, like, whittling away in, like, that picture. But then... And that is when, like, the like, rings that make up Warsman's spine start to collapse. And so Geronimo, like, jumps out, goes under all the rings, and just catches them all as they fall on him.
And he's just that strong.
Yeah,
he's just that strong of a human.
Yeah, he just catches them. Everyone else escapes. Geronimo dies.
Aww.
And so, yeah, now we have Akuma Shogun, because the actual Golden Mask starts to assume its true form, which is Akuma Shogun, which translates to General Devil. Some translations call him that. I know him as Akuma Shogun, so I'm going to call him that. The Golden Mask was originally this Choujin called Goldman, and him and his brother Silverman had, like, a decisive battle where they cut each other's heads off, and, I don't know, the Golden Mask, like, became evil, and that's why he's Akuma Shogun now. The 2011 series retcons this and makes it way better in that, like, Goldman and Silverman were originally, like, part of, like, the original Choujin that there were, and then, like, both of them, like, kind of go off to make their own factions, with Goldman becoming Akuma Shogun and founding the Devil Choujin, and Silverman going to planet Kinniku and becoming the original, like, founding member of the Kinniku family and, like, founding the Justice Choujin as well. Okay. And so this is kind of like, I don't know, he's the big bad. he's actually the only final villain in the series that Kinnikuman does not win over to like the Justice Choujin, or at least make a good guy in some way. So yeah, and his signature move is called the 9-point Seal of Hell, where like he attacks pressure points, which like he doesn't have to. Only the finisher is actually necessary, but like he wants to like disable people's bodies to instill as much fear as possible because he is the evilest dude who ever eviled. But his actual finisher is like he jumps up in the air, like puts his like shin on your neck, and then you slam into the ground, and that's the Hell's Guillotine. It's brutal. And like that's like his way of like instilling fear, is making it so you can't move at all until he does his incredibly brutal killing move. And so we have Kinnikuman versus Akuma Shogun. So Buffalo. Oh yeah, did I forget the Ashraman stuff? Ashraman was there for a while, and then like Buffalo Man, like kind of like it. Like Buffalo Man comes back, by the way. He comes back because like he's been recruited to be Ashraman's second, and like he fights Kinnikuman for a little bit, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Kinnikuman wins. I think I forgot to put a slide for Kinnikuman versus Ashraman. Whoops.
But okay, yeah, but they walked out of Warman, so
Yeah. They're
so
outside of
that's-
Warsman now.
Yeah.
And so after this fight, Buffalo Man is like, all right, well, the deal was one fight, so I'm going back to the Justice Choujin now. And so Buffalo Man starts fighting against Akuma Shogun for a while so that Kinnikuman can come up with a new finishing move. And so he goes into like the mountains and like trains with Terry Man, and this is where he learns like the story of Gold Man and Silver Man. Mm-hmm. And so he comes back and Kinnikuman has to fight against Akuma Shogun. He does some really cool stuff. Like this is one of the longer fights, so it's hard to give every single beat that happens, and that's going to be like the rest of the series from here on, as I can't give everything that happens. But like some highlights is like Akuma Shogun can like change his hardness level, so he can be level 10 hardness, which is as hard as Robin Mask's armor, or it can be level 0 hardness, where he's just like a stretchy dude and he gets out of holds. So like Kinnikuman has to like constantly like change his hold while he's trying to Kinniku Buster Akuma Shogun, and he does a sideways Kinniku Buster, lands it on like the sidewall.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's really cool, and that busts open Shogun's chest plate, revealing that he's just a hollow piece of armor, and that's kind of like a big issue, is that like you can't really beat him because he doesn't have a body. And that's when he starts using like his 9-point seal and disabling random pieces of Kinnikuman. But Kinnikuman's body, like he like stops the attack by like instinctively like reaching out and grabbing the ropes, which lets him escape from the guillotine. And then he kind of gets his body back. But then Buffalo, okay, so Akuma Shogun's power level is also 10 million. And so Buffalo Man like gets in the ring and puts on the Akuma Shogun armor so that he has a physical body that can be defeated. And then Kinnikuman busts out his new finishing move, the Kinniku Driver, where like he holds you upside down like jackhammer style, like arms on, or like feet on the arms, and then you just drive them into the ground.
Which is literally like an upside down buster, essentially, the way it's all like stationed.
Almost as if the moves could fit onto each other.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that is how Kinnikuman defeats Akuma Shogun. And then like the gold and silver masks like combine back, after Shogun becomes the golden mask again, they combine back together to be the perfect mask. And the perfect mask, because it's powerful or whatever, revives all the guys who died in this arc.
Yeah.
Except Geronimo, because his body is alive, but his spirit is dead.
Jeez.
So Geronimo stays dead.
I'm very sorry. I really gotta pee again like that.
Another bathroom break?
Yeah,
All right,
I
that's
can
cool.
feel it.
Back to, what was the guy's name?
Benki Man.
Back to Banky Man.
So, do you guys like tag team tournaments?
Yeah!
How about the Dream Choujin Tag Arc? So Kinnikuman's dad is like, Kinnikuman, you are clearly a hero now. You've proven yourself.
What, wait, hold up.
What?
Okay, there's Black Hole.
And Pentagram Man.
Yeah, and Pentagram. Is Pentagram back?
Yeah, they're all alive.
Oh.
We just hand wave it. They're all alive. It's cool. Kind of gone, by the way. But basically, they're like, all right, Kinnikuman, you have clearly proven your strength, but to be a wise king, you need to be able to communicate, improve your teamwork. So they go to a place called Tournament Mountain, which is literally like built into Mount Fuji. And like this, like a bunch of rings like arranged like a tournament bracket come out. And it's like, now you have to win this tag team tournament in order to finally prove yourself worthy of the Kinniku throne. The problem is, Ashraman and Sunshine are up to no good. And they use voodoo dolls to seal away the Justice Choujin's friendship power, And so none of them want to like work with Kinnikuman to help him out. They all have like a much more rivalish attitude towards him, where they're like, well, if you go and become king, like, I'll never have the chance to beat you, so I'm not going to team with you. This is my last chance to have a match against you. So all of Kinnikuman's friends refuse to team with him. And so he has to find someone who will work with him, but is not part of his friend group. Who could that possibly be? But eventually, the day of the tournament arrives. And let's be introduced to our teams. The Killer Game Combo, Kinniman and Screw Kid. These guys are from a new faction called the Perfect Choujin. And they are like, we have to prove ourselves. Like they strive for perfection to the point to where like if they ever lose ever, they have to kill themselves.
Yeah.
And like they like travel through space and they are like constantly just like trying to attain more and more power. They hold themselves to very high standards. They're not allowed to use weapons at all. Like that's another like big fault where they just get killed if they do that.
But they are weapons.
So
If it's on your body, it doesn't count.
Okay.
So we have the Killer Game Combo, and like these guys are kind of jokes. There are other Perfect Choujin who are bigger deals. We have the Most Dangerous Combo, Wolfman and Brocken Jr. They can throw some hands.
You mean Japan
Wolfman.
and Germany
Wolfman.
allied together?
Oh, no.
Back again.
Yeah, he got brought back to
he got
life
brought
at the
back
end.
from,
Yeah, that was when Buffalo Man used his like power level to bring him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right. That was like
wasn't-
the good happy ending.
Yeah. Next, we have the Choujin Master Student
Oh,
Combo,
hell
Robin
yeah.
Mask and
Bro,
Wars Man.
Oh.
That is freaking amazing.
They
Robin
look
Mask
sick.
takes the lead with his tactics and technique, and Warsman executes him as the brutal student.
I like
The
that.
Brudent.
Next, we have the main villains of the arc, the Hell Missionaries. These are other Perfect Choujin. Despite the name, they're Perfect Choujin.
Cool.
And their whole thing is Neptune Man has like this mat that like he collects masks. He thinks that like you have to be perfect to be worthy of wearing a mask. So he just wants to like take everyone's mask off of them and like put it on his like mask mantle.
Huh.
And so him and his tag team partner, this guy here, Big the Budo, are teaming up together. They're both Perfect Choujin. Their tag team move is super awesome because it's the cross bomber. They just both do like an they do an arm bar from each side and they just like meet at the neck. And also these guys have like a thing called magnet power, so they can like manipulate like magnetism in their bodies. So they can like charge it and like slam at each other and do that kind of stuff.
Is that them in the black robes?
Yeah, so when they first show up, they're
That
in
looks
those,
sick.
yeah, when they first show up, they're in those robes. It's not until their first match that they like take their robes off.
That's actually like really intimidating.
Yeah.
Also, Neptune Man is based on Hulk Hogan.
Yo,
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, he looks like Hulk Hogan.
Blonde
Oh yeah,
hair.
brother.
I have no idea if it's true or not, but I read a YouTube comment that said that their tag team might be based on like
The Mega Powers,
who are in those?
Macho Man and Hulk Hogan.
No, I think it was like something about like Andre the Giant, because Hogan and like Andre the Giant were like always at each other's
They
throats.
were for a minute, but then like that became a big thing with WrestleMania 2, I think. It was either WrestleMania 2 or 3. That's the one where Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre, and it was like a huge deal.
Yeah. Some people think it's based on that. I don't know. I don't even know if that happened before or after Kinnikuman. But they're
If
dudes.
this is still set, if this is still the 70s when this was written,
This would be probably mid to late 80s.
okay, then this would have been after.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have the new machine guns, Terry Man and Geronimo. So, like, Geronimo, like I said, body alive, spiritually dead. Terry Man, like, takes Geronimo to, like, this chieftain where he goes on a spirit quest, and he gets his spirit back. And at this point, he is deemed worthy of becoming a Choujin. So he's a Choujin now.
Oh, it's cowboys and Indians.
It is
man.
Cowboys.
Ah,
Cowboys and Native Americans.
the new machine guns.
Yeah, they're
Love
great.
it.
That's the only title that Americans should have. Machine guns.
Next, we have the 4D killer combo, Black Hole and Pentagon. They're space-time dudes. Like, they're both, like, huge, like, magic time-space gimmick fighters, and that's what they do.
I love freaking Black Hole's pose there.
Oh, yeah. And remember, these guys are related. Yeah, a big thing they try to do is, like, Pentagon will, like, stop time and, like, fly around to try and, like, grab people and shove them into Black Hole's black hole. That's a big, like, tactic they use. Really, really fun duo to see fight. Next, we have the 20 million powers, Buffalo Man and Mongol Man.
Who could he be?
Who is Mongol Man? Well, the reason they're called the 20 million powers, 10 million of that is pretty obvious, Buffalo Man. But like on the other side, they say that Mongol Man knows 10 million techniques. So together, they're the 20 million powers. These guys, in this picture, they're actually doing their tag team move, the Longhorn Train, where like Buffalo Man goes like upside down, and like Mongol Man like carries him on his back and like just charges at people because he's like really fast and stuff. These are the big
No!
Special Man.
Special Man is okay. So if Terry Man's like from the southern parts of America, he's from Texas, southwest. Special Man is from New York. He's themed after a football player. He was technically in earlier arcs, but he's so irrelevant I didn't mention him. He tagged teams with Canadian Man, and they immediately job.
Thank God.
They don't even get into the tournament. Because when they show up and try to register for the tournament, they are immediately brutalized and bodied by the actual last team, the Stray Devil combo, Ashura Man and Sunshine.
I like it.
These guys are pretty evil, but you already knew that. Big thing they try to do is like Ashura Man, because Sunshine has like his cursed roller. Ashura Man like has all his arms. He tries to feed them into it. They have some other combination moves. They're pretty bad dudes, and you already know they're like kind of behind why the Justice Choujin are like not doing their friendship power thing currently because of the voodoo stuff.
Yeah.
And so these guys, big bad as well. They're not the final villain. That's Neptune Man and Big the Budo, but they're also pretty bad. And finally, we have the Muscle Brothers, Kinnikuman and Kinnikuman Great. Kinnikuman Great is actually Prince Kamehame in disguise.
What? Whoa.
Because I said Kinnikuman had to find someone who he respected and who would work with him, but was not like necessarily his friend. And he goes to Hawaii, and Prince Kamehame, he's in disguise because he's retired. He's not supposed to be wrestling.
Yeah.
And so they team up, and they are the Muscle Brothers.
I like it.
Yeah, they're great. The Muscle Brothers actually go on to become like a legacy team. Like a lot of different characters end up wearing the Kinnikuman Great mask. So
what's the symbol on his head?
It's also Niku.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just a white Niku.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it was different.
Nope, it's the same. So the preliminaries, Big Bombers with Stray Devil combo. They just like show up in the Big Bombers' job so that the Stray Devil combo gets into the tournament. And then we also have the 20 million powers. This is an actual first round. Like just everyone else just gets a bye. These guys have to do a round for like the last spot in like the top 8. These guys start 20 million powers versus the most dangerous combo, but the killer game combo just jumps in and just starts attacking. And then like the most dangerous combo starts fighting back. And the killer game combo, they like connect together to like form this like drill, like Screw Kid like screws Kenda Man's like spike through both of them. Like literally like drills through both of them. But then like Brocken Jr. like crawls over to Buffalo Man. Because this match was technically supposed to be the 20 million powers versus the most dangerous combo. And just lets Buffalo Man like pin him so that like they can advance to the next round. So now we have the quarterfinals. First we got the Muscle Brothers versus the 4D Killer Combo. So a lot of this is Pentagon using his time powers. Like I said earlier, try and shove people into Black Hole. But Kinnikuman is like trapped in there. He doesn't know how to get out. But like he's like listening and like focusing super hard, and he can like hear Kamehame's voice like guiding him out of the dimension. And eventually he does escape. And when they do escape, they catch the 4D Killer Combo, both of them, in their muscle docking. Muscle docking is a move where one of them does the Kinniku Buster, the other one does the Kinniku Driver, and you land the Kinniku Buster on top of the Kinniku Driver.
It's like a buzzing
That's pretty sick.
And that's how they win that one. Next we have the 20 million...
They beat them by docking.
Next we have the 20 million powers versus the killer game combo. So Buffalo Man really starts... Okay, so this is kind of like... The killer game combo are kind of like joke characters. They're just kind of like supposed to be there to die to show like what the perfect Choujin are about. Because like when Buffalo Man is like making quick work of them, they just like break out weapons and start using them. And that's when Neptune Man and Big the Budo step in and are like, you guys aren't allowed to do that. And then Neptune Man and Big the Budo execute the killer game combo. I believe they use the cross bomber. I don't really remember. Next you have the Hell Missionaries versus the Choujin Master-Student combo. So as you might imagine, Neptune Man, not a big fan of them because they both wear masks.
Yeah.
This is actually where you get Warsman's backstory about how he was like always bullied as a kid. And basically the match, and Robin Mask, when he starts the match, he immediately recognizes Neptune Man's wrestling style as a former English Choujin named Kinnikuman, who roughly translates to Quarrel Man. And he remembers a time when like him and Kinnikuman met at the Choujin Olympic finals, and they lock up, and then like apparently a thing they can do is they can sense each other's power when they lock up. And basically Kinnikuman immediately just like gave up and just walked away because he was just like, he was kind of depressed. Like he was way, way stronger than everyone else, and like Robin Mask was like the new hot up-and-comer. And then when he found out like, oh, Robin Mask can't face me, like he locked up and was just like, this guy is nothing. And then like he decides to throw himself off the London Bridge. And it's when he does that, which by the way, he was not wearing a mask when he was Kinnikuman. That's when Big the Budo comes down and like invites him into the perfect Choujin, and that's when he like gets his mask and becomes Neptune Man. And so Robin Mask recognizes him as Kinnikuman, and then eventually both Robin Mask and Warsman get demasked by the Crossbomber. And it's kind of funny, for the rest of the arc, Robin Mask is just like wearing a sack over his head, and he's just wearing a shirt that says Robin on it.
No, Warsman dies!
Oh yeah, Warsman dies in Robin Mask's arms, and he's like crying out of, because like he's demasked, so he like has like his hideous face and like his one big eye, and he's like crying out of that eye, and like Robin Mask is just like holding him, and that's like when they cross-bomber Robin Mask to remove his mask. Yeah, so these guys are bad news. Finally, we have the New Machine Guns versus the Stray Devil combo, and the New Machine Guns, like if you remember early on when Terry Man kind of fought dirty when he got shot in the leg, they're kind of doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because they got no friendship. Ironically, when they get like a good move in, Sunshine actually starts to notice he's kind of friends with Ashura Man. And they start developing friendship power. Terry Man almost defeats Sunshine because Kinnikuman is like cheering him on. Like, and like the friendship like almost revives and almost gets through to Terry Man. But then like Sunshine just like, Geronimo was like really badly wounded at this point, and Sunshine just like grabs Geronimo and is just like, I'm gonna kill this guy if you don't surrender. And so Terry Man surrenders. I don't remember if Sunshine actually spares Geronimo or not. No, he does, because Geronimo appears later on. So now we have the semifinals. We have the Stray Devil combo versus the Muscle Brothers. So in the previous match against the 4D Killer combo, Kamehame actually gets really messed up. And so he's like on his deathbed, and he's visited by this like witch doctor named Dr. Bombay. And Dr. Bombay comes in and says, like, I can't really do much for you. Like, I can put you on life support. And this is also where you reveal Dr. Bombay made the Mongol Man mask, and that is like, it is Ramen Man under the mask, and the Mongol Man mask keeps him alive.
It keeps him alive?
Yeah, like it has like some like special herb in it.
It's some secret medicinal recipe.
Yeah, and so on his deathbed, Prince Kamehame hands over the Kinnikuman Great mask and costume to Terry Man. And so now Terry Man is Kinnikuman Great. Which actually, way back in Terry Man's character bio, you could see he had like the orange like athletic pants.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah. So Kinnikuman does not know that it's Terry Man under the mask. And so like they're fighting, and it's like it's really weird because like all of a sudden Great is wrestling in a really different way.
Yeah.
But like Kinnikuman and Terry Man actually just reawaken their friendship power. Like the more they like interact with each other and fight together, and like Kinnikuman's like, oh, I know what you're about to do. I recognize this style. And then like you see like the voodoo dolls like breaking as they do it. And eventually they are able to use the muscle docking against the Stray Devil combo. Also in this fight, partway through, Ashura Man realizes he's also friends with Sunshine. They have a little moment. And then the Hell Missionaries come up and they cross-bomber Ashura Man and take his mask. Because the perfect Choujin are not like on the side of the Devil Choujin. They see both the Justice and Devil Choujin
as like enemies.
They call them inferior Choujin as like one group. Because they're not trying to be perfect. What's the point, man? Mm-hmm. So they take Ashura Man's mask with the crossbomber.
And I killed him.
No, they survive.
Oh, okay.
Sort of.
And then killed them both.
Who you put him?
Oh, never mind. Yes, they did. I mean, what happens when you kill a Devil Knight? They just go to hell and then they can come back. Like, these guys have been killed before.
Almost everyone has died in this so far.
Except Kinnikuman.
Yeah. So really, he's the perfect one.
Well, if the Revival series is anything to go by, they really build up, like, how hyped Kinnikuman is, like, as a character. Because he's only lost once. His only loss in the entire series is to Prince Kamehame back in the American Tour arc.
Yeah, before like he was taught anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So next you have the Hell Missionaries versus 20 Million Powers. It's a barbed wire cage match, which, just like Warsman and Ramen Man and the Choujin... Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that Warsman versus Ramen Man and the Choujin Olympics was like a barbed wire cage match.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like why they chose to do that. It was Ramen Man's. I think it was Ramen. I legitimately don't remember. These fights are long and I can't memorize them all.
I remember seeing in the background of some of the panels though with the cages. So
Yeah. So the Missionaries, this is when they start busting out their magnet power, which the Revival series kind of contextualizes magnet power as like the opposite of friendship power. It's entirely based on like self-reliance and like not doing that, like not being friends and stuff. It's not really that way in this, but like it's just magnet moves. But like almost everything they do, because like you got iron in your blood that you can magnetize. So like they just keep on like they try to do like the Longhorn train and they just use the magnet to just pull them off each other. Like do stuff like that. So they get knocked out, and then Mongol Man gets unmasked by a cross-bomber. That's when everyone... I mean, it was pretty obvious in the manga. Like, the manga acts as if you immediately know it's Ramen Man. But then, like, they actually do... Excuse me. They do unmask Mongol Man, and without his mask, like, Ramen Man goes back to being a vegetable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he literally still has, like, the 3 wounds on his head from Warsman's claws.
He just needs to hurry up and die so he can get better.
It works for some characters. And yeah, this is when you find out about like what the Mongol Man mask is and like how it kept Ramen Man alive.
He just needs to go on a spirit quest, like Toronto.
Clearly. Well, no, his body is messed up. Like he has like holes in his brain.
Okay.
And then Kinnikuman like jumps in the ring because he's just like super mad. Like he's like really mad about like what they're doing to the 20 Million Powers and like how they basically just re-vegetated Ramen Man. So Kinnikuman gets in and they cross-bomber Kinnikuman, but like he mostly dodges it, but he gets his arm caught in it and like just completely fractures his arm off.
Oh man.
And so Kinnikuman has to like get treated by Dr. Bombay. And so what happens is because Kinnikuman's bone is completely broken, Buffalo Man like offers one of his Buffalo Man has his horns back for some reason. I don't know. But he gives one of his horns to Kinnikuman to like be his arm bone, and Dr. Bombay does like his like witch doctor stuff to like get
There's
Kinnikuman.
a bone graft, basically.
Yeah, basically. And now Kinnikuman's like right arm has 10 million power.
Not a fraction of 10 million, it's the full 10 million.
Yeah, sure.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so now we have the finals, the Muscle Brothers versus the Hell Missionaries. It is a 3-round fight, and there's spikes under the ring, so you can't like go outside the ring. In round 1, basically the Missionaries, they use their magnet power, and like they don't really, like the Muscle Brothers don't really know how to conquer or to like get around that, so they actually end up getting beaten. And then, and this is when they cross-bomber Kinnikuman Great, and that is when it's, like, revealed that Terry Man is Kinnikuman Great. And then, in round 2, like, there's kind of, like, a thing where, like, it starts like round 1, where, like, Neptune Man and Big the Buddha are, like, kind of, like, getting the upper hand, because Kinnikuman and Terry Man, like, are still, like, getting back in the groove. But then eventually, like, it's literally, like, paced so that as the match goes on, they get better at working together and they start, like, escaping moves they couldn't escape before.
They're, like, reconnecting.
Yeah, exactly. And then, and then this is a goofy thing. So, basically, the ghosts of Kinnikuman's fallen allies reveal that there is this keyhole at the base of Tournament Mountain. And so Terry Man goes to like seal it because that is the Apollo keyhole, which is the source of magnet power. So he
It's
does.
just right there.
Of course.
Yeah.
We chose a bad location.
Oh, never mind. It's Kinnikuman who has to seal it.
Wait,
Okay.
While Terry Man has to hold them
Who
both
is
up.
Neptune King?
He's one of the helmet swings.
Yeah, so Big the Budo eventually gets unmasked. He gets like his kendo mask like busted, and it turns out underneath the guy under the mask is this guy called Neptune King. And it's kind of like you kind of think Neptune Man is like the leader of the team, but it's actually Neptune King. And Neptune King was actually the guy who like taught Neptune Man everything he knows, taught him magnet power, made him a perfect Choujin, all that stuff. And yeah, that like weird zombie looking face is kind of like what he looks like under the mask. Like he's kind of like rotting and decrepit under it. And eventually they do like stop the magnet power. And then, Neptune Man actually turns on Neptune King because Neptune King just like starts using a weapon against Terry. When Terry Man was holding them both off, Neptune King gets like fed up and starts using a weapon, and then like Neptune Man gets mad and starts fighting Neptune King because like he was more into the actual like perfect Choujin philosophy.
Yeah.
And I guess Neptune King just wanted to like beat up a bunch of dudes, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so basically so it's Terry Man and Neptune Man against Neptune King until eventually Kinnikuman seals the magnet power, and then they start fighting again for real 2v2, and eventually the Muscle Brothers get the missionaries in the muscle docking and end the match. And Neptune Man has, that was round 2. There's no round 3 because both Neptune Man and Big the Budo are just knocked out. They literally cannot stand up to fight another match. So they win. The Muscle Brothers, or rather the revival of the Machine Guns, are the champions. And Neptune Man has this quote where he's like, "The only true perfect power in the world is the friendship of the Justice Choujin." So he kind of like, he's still a perfect Choujin going forward, but he has like a lot of respect for the Justice Choujin philosophy.
Yeah.
Also, they like threatened that like a bunch of perfect Choujin were going to come down from space after they won and like start killing all the other Choujin. But like Neptune Man like flies up and like eats an explosive and like blows himself up to like get rid of all the other perfect Choujin. So he's dead too now.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was like his last words before he went out in space to die.
And Neptune King, he died in that explosion then? Or
Neptune
he was already dead?
Neptune King died when his mask was broken in the muscle docking.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, and then Neptune Man was the one who blew up.
Yeah, Neptune Man was the one. The one who looks like Hulk Hogan was the one who blew himself up.
Okay. Also, I love that freaking trophy.
Yeah,
that trophy's awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, and you can see like the ghosts of everyone who died up there. Like the dude with the weird mask is Dr. Bombay. You have Kamehame, Warsman, Ramen Man. I think that's Wolfman on the left. Buffalo. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, T-posing is the perfect way to assert dominance. And that's like they have like the little hole on there because that's like when their magnet power is like getting sealed. They're like trying to go full power with it before. And that's what
it gets like stopped like just in time, like one of those dramatic things.
Exactly. And so now, Kinnikuman has proven his friendship. He's beaten the baddest dudes.
Only one more thing for him to prove.
No. The king is just like, all right, you're good. You're going to be the king now. And so, at his coronation, there are 105 Choujin gods who come to witness his coronation. There are 100 good ones and 5 evil ones, and they all have to approve him. But you also have, if you disapprove, you have to like have a reason.
Yeah.
Leading into the Scramble for the Kinniku throne arc, where the 5 evil Choujin gods are like, actually, on the day Kinnikuman was born, there was a mishap in the hospital, the babies got mixed up, and they all come with their own guy who are they're like, this is the true prince of planet Kinniku. And so, they decide, all of these guys are going to get a 5-man team to like have a big battle, a crew battle, tournament, in order to decide, because they have this thing called the Muscle Prophecy, which is just a book that like reads the future or whatever. It's a dumb gimmick and I don't like it. But it does say like, oh, like the true prince will win this.
Sure.
Yeah. And then Kinnikuman actually starts doubting himself. Like he's like about to like jump off a bridge, kind of like Neptune Man. Until like he gets a pep talk from Meat. And Kinnikuman's like, yeah, whatever. And so he just decides to like take his mask off because like he's gonna die anyway. And when he removes his mask, he does this thing called the face flash, which is a thing that was in the earlier arcs where like whenever like his mask is like partially removed, his absolute brilliance shines out and like blinds people.
He's so damn handsome.
Exactly. But like the light that shines out cleans up the pollution in the river he was going to jump into. And Kinnikuman was like, wait, I think I'm the actual prince. So he puts the mask back on. The problem is, after the previous arc, all the other Justice Choujin went to like do peacetime stuff. Like Terryman opened a gym, Robin Mask became a teacher, and they all have duties that were given to them by the Choujin committee, so they aren't down to wrestle anymore. And so Kinnikuman has to scramble to find a new team to fight the other teams of all these other Kinnikumen. This is easily the longest arc. This is like a third of the entire series, but like don't worry, it won't be a third of the lecture because I skip a lot of like the dumb filler in between. So let's get introduced to our teams. Team Kinnikuman. Kinnikuman and Alexandria meet. He couldn't find anyone.
He's just on his own.
He's got meat.
Also, is this the first time he has that singlet?
Yeah, that's only in Scramble for the Throne.
Okay, yeah, that's like the
That's my favorite
look.
Kinnikuman design.
Yeah, man.
Next we have Team Big Body, consisting of Kinnikuman Big Body, that's the big shoulder pads dude. I mean, you can kind of tell from the names.
It's like Blitzman almost.
Yeah, I forget what his original name was. They all had name before they were Kinnikuman. They had like other names. I forget what Big Body's was. I think it was like literally like Large Man or something like that. But yeah, you have Golem Man, Leopardon, Cannonballer, Pinch Man. Those are his guys.
I'm gonna give you a pinch.
He's got a point. Actually, he doesn't.
The point.
Next we have Team Zebra, Kinnikuman Zebra, Parthenon, Bike Man, Motor Man, and the Manriki.
Parthenon looks really awkward in the anime.
He does. He's kind of like way too big. Motor Man looks silly.
Dude, freaking the way Parthenon guys' legs move freaks me out.
Oh, yeah.
Because like everything is cylindrical on his body.
Yeah.
So it's really awkward.
It's the animators begging for mercy.
Why? Actually, while I would usually recommend reading the manga to avoid a lot of the filler, Scramble for the Thrones anime actually cuts a lot of the dumb filler that was in the manga. There's one thing that they edited that I don't like, and that's in... I'll talk about that when it comes. Yeah. But other than that one fight, I really think that the anime is probably the better way to experience Scramble for the Throne.
Okay, so there's 3 more teams here, right?
Yes. Team Mariposa, consisting of Kinnikuman Mariposa, King the 100 Tons, Mixer Taite, Mr. VTR, and Hawkman.
Just freaking Hawkman!
Yeah. These
DC, let's go.
These are all air fighters.
Oh, okay.
Even King the 100 Ton, he's an air fighter.
Wait, Mr. VTR is an air fighter?
Maybe not. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
They're an aerial themed team. Mariposa is Spanish for butterfly.
Yeah.
He stays in the air.
I was wondering what the theme of these teams are.
Big Body is they're all big. Zebra is I don't know. They're all like
there's 3 motor guys, 3
I literally don't know if Zebra's team even has a theme. Mariposa is they're mostly air fighters.
Mariposa has a sick mask.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Mexican, so he's got to have the lucha stuff going.
No, that's a particularly cool lucha mask.
It really is. Next we have Team Super Phoenix, consisting of Kinnikuman Super Phoenix, Mammoth Man, Omega Man, there's the Mega Man reference, Satan Cross, actually not related to Satan anyway, just shares the name.
Yeah.
And Prisman.
Prisman.
Not Prism Man, Prisman.
Oh, that was Ashura Man.
Who does?
Satan
Cross? Well...
No, the blue guy.
Yeah, Satan Cross.
Okay, wait, who's the guy with the purple hand then?
That's Omega Man.
Okay.
I thought he was Satan Cross.
No. There is a reason for that, and we'll get to it.
Huh.
It's actually that actually relates to the thing that I said that the anime version cuts that I didn't like.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, finally we have Team Soldier, Kinnikuman Soldier, Brocken Jr.,
Oh!
Brocken Man, and Ashura Man.
Dude!
Are Ashura Man and the other blue guy, are they gonna get into a scuffle?
There is a side story. Again, this is another thing that where the revival series has a side story about how these guys all got together. Basically,
Yeah.
Soldier reveals some plot stuff to them all and like has a big fight where he wins all their respect. So like they're like very much like military band of brothers like kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, side note, the theme song for them should totally be Buffalo Soldier.
That would be cool. All right, so that's the last team. Why are a bunch of Kinnikuman's friends fighting against him?
Because Kinnikuman soldiers like, I'm Kinnikuman. I just got real serious.
Well, we'll find out.
I'm thinking some more voodoo.
All right, first we have Team Kinnikuman versus Team Mariposa.
The blender face is just on the side of the blender.
It's pretty great. So it starts off with Kinnikuman versus Hawkman. Hawkman's an air fighter. He stays in the air a lot. Kinnikuman has to like escape from like his talons. You know, his talons grab really good. But eventually he does beat Hawkman. Again, because these are like very long fights because they're like 5v5s. It's really hard to do this stuff. Also, this is all being televised, so like everyone's like watching on TV and stuff. And then Kinnikuman has to fight against Mr. VTR, who like he can like do video editing. Like he can rewind to like just redo like part of the fight. It's really weird, but eventually Kinnikuman does beat Mr. VTR. And then you have Kinnikuman versus Mixer Taite, the blender guy. The important part of this fight is that Mixer Taite gets Kinnikuman caught in his blender and blends Kinnikuman up in a way that he removes Kinnikuman's burning inner strength. And then Kinnikuman just falls to the ground defeated. He can't do anything anymore. But you find out that Kinnikuman actually got like a really good hit in at one point, and so he has like a loose bolt. But yeah, Kinnikuman has to go. It's kind of a way that like Kinnikuman has to prove his like Kinniku heritage because now he has to do this whole arc without his burning inner strength. And so next you have Meat versus Mixer Taite. Taite has a loose screw, and Meat is able to backdrop him to make Taite fall apart. So Meat gets a win. Hooray. Meat versus King the 100 Ton. King the 100 Ton absolutely bodies Meat. It's not even crushes the guy. And right before he finishes off Meat, Terry Man and Robin Mask, who were watching on TV and like flew to Japan to like help Kinnikuman. Yeah, they can fly. Which makes me wonder why Kinnikuman swam to America. But
It was training.
it was very much like a gag.
Yeah.
So next you
Wait,
have
I thought they had prior engagements.
Kinnikuman or Terry Man, like all the people like at his gym are like, dude, go. And like the same for like Robin Mask's students are like, no, like this is what being a Choujin's all about. Like you gotta go and do things.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we'll be watching you on TV, Robin.
Sick.
Yeah. And so now you have Terry Man versus King the 100 Ton. Where like King the 100 Ton has like these different cards that like Mariposa can flash that like change the shifting of his like 100-ton weight. Which turns him into like different forms, and Terry Man has to like get them all. He gets crushed a lot. A lot of Terry Man's fights involve him getting beat up really bad, but like pushing through. It's kind of what Kinnikuman used to do early in the series before he just became like the burning inner strength friendship power guy. But now like Terry Man's the guy who like gets really brutalized. So he does the calf branding, but then he gets like Mixer Taite like falls on him or something, and it's a double KO. And so all that is left is Robin Mask and Kinnikuman Mariposa. Remember when I said to buy Robin coin? It's time to cash out. This is Robin Mask's best arc by far. He does so much cool stuff in this arc. And he gets the final fight against Team Mariposa, where you find out that Mariposa was originally this guy called Thief George, and he actually stole a relic from the Robin family called the Anoaro staff, which lets them like shoot fire. So like Mariposa's like flying through the air and like shooting fire and like burning Robin Mask. And eventually there are like 3 secret moves of the Kinniku family that like technically only the real prince should be able to do. And so Mariposa begins to attempt one called the Muscle Revenger, where like he knocks Robin Mask into the ground, and like Robin Mask isn't fighting back because he's like, dude, you've gone through like so much, like maybe you do deserve to be king. Like he starts second guessing himself. So he's just like letting himself be drilled into the ground. So like Robin Mask is like getting knocked into the ground. Mariposa is like, if you play Paper Mario, it's like the head bonk move, or more like multi-bonk, where he keeps on like slamming into him. Because like you see like the carving of what the Muscle Revenger is, and it's like one guy's head slamming into another guy's.
Yeah.
And so he's knocking him in over and over. And then eventually Robin Mask like gets a pep talk, I think from Terry Man, who's like, yeah, but like we're Kinnikuman's friends. And if you'll remember way back when, like he's gone through a lot of hard times too. You can't just give up because this guy has a sob story. And so Robin Mask busts out of the ring, and when Mariposa is about to like come back down for the next hit of his Muscle Revenger, Robin flips upside down and catches him in his Robin special, where he leg walks him and then lands in a handstand as a neck breaker.
That's freaking sick.
Yes, and then when Mariposa goes back to being George, and like he's not like possessed by one of the, because all the 5 evil gods are like lending their things, so all the Choujin gods have a set power level of 100 million, and so they're all lending like the Kinnikuman their power. Mm-hmm. And so like when he beats one of the evil gods out of Mariposa, he goes back to George and he's like, oh man, like I let like my poverty like make me super greedy and envious, and I was always poor, and that's terrible. But like, I think I'm going to try and be better now. And Kinnikuman is just like, well, now that you say that, you're not poor anymore. And he welcomes Mariposa into the Justice Choujin.
Hell yeah.
Next we have Team Super Phoenix versus Team Big Body. This is a very short round. Mammoth Man is super powerful and solos the entire team. Until the very last thing, when Big Body steps into the ring, and then Super Phoenix is like, wait, hold up a second, I gotta prove something. And he says, let me show you how a Muscle Revenger is really done. Because it turns out Mariposa had it upside down, where like Super Phoenix like throws Big Body up in the air and then jumps after him, like headbutts him going up. And he does that over and over and like juggles him in the air. And that finishes off Big Body. He's like, that's how you do a Muscle Revenger. So Team Super Phoenix wins. Next we have Team Kinnikuman versus Team Zebra. This is a really cool fight, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, those are some beautiful stills.
Yeah. So first you have Meat versus the Monriki, which, so Warsman died last time. So it turns out when Choujin die, one of the reasons they can come back so easy is they go to their afterlife is like a place in the Bermuda Triangle called the Choujin Graveyard.
Bermuda Triangle.
And so,
they just walk out.
Yeah, well, it's very hard to get out of. It's guarded by incredibly powerful Choujin and the Choujin Enma, who actually becomes a major villain in the Revival series. But anyways, Dr. Bombay helps Warsman escape from the Choujin Graveyard so he can come and bail Meat out. But because he was killed and like his mind is kind of like in its default state, he has like none of his character development. So Warsman's entire fight against the Manriki is like speedrunning his character arc from the series, where like Robin Mask will like put back on the Barracuda mask and start like whipping him to make him go back to like his like cold-blooded fighting computer persona, and then like he starts like screwdrivering and like he gets his Warsman smile again, and then like Kinnikuman has to give him a pep talk to like remind him about friendship power. They literally like speedrun his character.
That's cool though. That's a huge love letter to him.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
I just want to see freaking Ramen Man tearing that dude's head off. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Motor Man gets destroyed.
Yes, he does. So next you have Terry Man versus Motor Man. Terry Man gets beat up because he got like really messed up by King the 100 Ton in the last fight. But then Ramen Man comes in and he still has head trauma, and like he like has this little thing wrapped around his wounds that
Like the mask almost.
Yeah. I think it's actually made from like the same thing, but it's just like a little wrap around. Mm-hmm. And he also has this like sick new like, you see he's like in a jumpsuit. It has like this like Imperial Dragon design on it. It's so cool. Man. And so it turns out Bike Man was like, Ramen Man like knocked out Bike Man in like in the locker room and like disguised himself as Bike Man. So Bike Man jumps in and like takes off his disguise, and then Ramen Man catches, like he becomes brutal again because he has brain damage, and he catches Motor Man in the camel clutch and tears him in half.
Oh.
It's so cool. And there's like this big flashy scene where like he first derobes, like you see like this dragon like flying around his costume before it just reveals his new outfit. It's so awesome. And then you have Ramen Man versus Bike Man. They are in this like Thunderdome death match where like they're like because he's a bike, he can like go in circles. It's like a motorcycle in like the little cage thing where you got to go really fast.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So Ramen Man does catch like he gets killed because he gets hit in like the little hole things. But then like the tears of the Justice Choujin bring him back.
What's death? Death doesn't mean anything.
And then he uses his Kowloon wall drop to double KO him.
Just drops a great wall channel.
Yeah, basically. to beat Bike Man. So now the only guys left are Kinnikuman, Robin Mask, Parthenon, and Zebra. And Zebra suggests they end this with a 2v2. Mm-hmm. So you have Kinnikuman and Robin Mask. I believe their team name is Blue Impulse. I don't know if Parthenon and Zebra have a team name. So Zebra, when like light is not shining on him, he turns into like Dark Zebra, and that's when he becomes like sinister and evil and all that. Okay. Whereas like he's usually like a fair fighter when he's like Light Zebra. But highlights of this fight, as you can see in that picture,
Robin gets rocked.
That's not Prison. That's Parthenon.
That's Parthenon.
Yeah. So Robin Mask like gets Parthenon in a tower bridge and snaps him in half, and then he throws the top half of Parthenon up in the air and catches that half in the Robin special to finish him off.
He already had him completely defeated.
He did.
Well, it's kind of implied that like only Parthenon's head is like the sentient part. He can like trap people in his pillars and like start like turning them. Turning them more into like stone or whatever. Mm-hmm. So Robin Mask has to like use his Anoaro staff to like blow up the gases in there to escape. And then you find out Zebra's backstory is like he actually killed his pet zebra in order to like remove all kindness from his body so he could get dark power.
Pet zebra?
Yes. Kinnikuman and Robin Mask do a friendship-powered cross-bomber to Zebra. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then it ends with Kinnikuman using what is more... Oh, yeah, and...
that's like the special move to prove, like, himself.
Yeah, the muscle
spark. Yeah.
Yeah, so Zebra tries to use a move called the muscle something else, I forget. Not Muscle Revenger, Muscle... I remember what it is, because like he rides someone like a surfboard in midair. It's really cool, but like he messes it up and Kinnikuman gets out, and then Kinnikuman reverses that into the incomplete muscle spark, where like he like wraps his. It's a really weird looking move. There'll be a picture of it later. I'm not going to try to describe it, but basically he only does one half of the move. He does not actually know the full muscle spark. But the muscle spark is like the one where it's really like if you can do this, like you are the true Kinniku successor. So, but the incomplete muscle spark is enough to finish off Zebra.
Yeah.
Okay. So next we have Team Soldier versus Team Super Phoenix. The big thing in the early part of this is going to be Satan Cross versus Ashura Man, because Satan Cross was originally this guy called Samson, who was like, he was Ashura Man's teacher. And like Ashura Man has a lot of respect for him, and they have this whole like flashback thing where like Samson like sacrificed himself to save Ashura Man's life, and he gets impaled through the stomach, and that's why he has like the like centaur body with like the other head, because that's literally a parasite keeping him alive, but also making him like extra.
Oh yeah, because he had the extra legs.
Yeah. He's like a centaur.
Okay.
So Ashura Man has to like fight his former master and win. And,
oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it's great.
We like Ashura Man a lot, even though he's a bastard.
Yeah.
Well, he's got friendship power with
Sunshine.
Sunshine.
Yeah, in the Revival series, they make a big deal out of that because Akuma Shogun is just like, I can't use friendship power, so I actually think you guys are like the future of this team. And he even says, before he goes into like his final battle with like the original Perfect Choujin, he just straight up says, if I die, Sunshine, you're in charge. It's really cool. They have like this camaraderie that develops. And of course the Justice Choujin are there too. Like Akuma Shogun also invites Kinnikuman to watch because he's like, you're the like head of all Choujin everywhere. Like you need to watch this. Mm-hmm. So like Akuma Shogun by that point has developed a respect for Kinnikuman.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's a really cool fight, but again, I'm not doing 2011 in this. Read it yourself. But anyways, you have a 3v3. Bracken Jr., Buffalo Man, and Kinnikuman Soldier versus Mammoth Man, Prisman, and Super Phoenix. So Prisman and Bracken Jr. Prisman can like, remember what I said earlier about Capillaria rays that eradicate Choujin?
Yeah.
Prisman can actually shoot Capillaria rays. That's his big thing. He can like have
he should be like a huge threat.
He is. He almost disintegrates Bracken Jr. But like, okay, so they're fighting on this giant cube that's way above everything else.
Yeah.
And like Bracken Jr. just like does a Frankensteiner and like backdrops him off the entire thing, and they both die. He like shatters Prisman because he's like, you like cannot be a part of this match anymore. Too big of a threat. Yeah, and Team Soldier has like a bunch of different like poses. They'll like sit in different poses to like signal different things to the guy in the ring. Like again, they have like this whole like military thing going on.
Yeah.
Like they've got like formations and orders and all that. And so you get Drunken Junior's a lot like Merc. That's probably not a good. But it is after Junior sacrifices himself that Kinnikuman Soldier takes off. Well, he doesn't take off his mask, but he reveals who he actually is. He is Kinniku Ataru, Kinnikuman's older brother.
Oh.
And he knows Kinnikuman because Ataru also knows the Muscle Spark. And so, but he thinks Kinnikuman is like the true heir to the throne. And so he uses this. Well, okay, first of all, Buffalo Man does fight with Mammoth Man, and that's cool. Oh yeah, and like they start like using like pages of the Muscle Prophecy. If the page with your name on it gets burnt, you just like unexist. Yeah,
Okay.
like you just like disappear. And so, Mammoth Man burns Ataru's page. And so Ataru is like starting to fade away, and like the last thing he wants to pass on, and he's like, Kinnikuman, watch this. And he catches Phoenix in like the second half of the Muscle Spark, specifically to show it to Kinnikuman. But because his like legs are fading away from the burning page, Super Phoenix breaks out of it, which like it would have worked because he's an actual Kinniku royal.
Yeah.
But Super Phoenix broke out of it because his legs were disappearing, and then Super Phoenix uses the Muscle Revenger, which Muscle Inferno was the one Zebra used, where he surfs on people.
Okay. Are those supposed to be only for royalty too, or it's only the Muscle Spark?
Technically all of them. So like technically all the ones all the other guys use are like incomplete moves. But they really do own it.
Yeah.
But like the Muscle Spark is like the big one.
Yeah.
And this is also where you find out, like, in the Muscle Prophecy, it's written that, like, in the final round, the prince that is, like, the fake prince will, like, suffer a heart attack and die because they have, like, a heart hemorrhage. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, Super Phoenix has a heart condition. But he, like, has this plan where he's like, well, if I can just, like, crush Kinnikuman's heart with a particularly powerful blow, I will fulfill the Muscle Prophecy and become the new king. So that's kind of his plan. Oh, yeah, and Phoenix finishes off Ataru with the Muscle Revenger. But Ataru doesn't. There's this guy who kind of inherits Ataru's will. He's going to be the guy who comes in and kind of like joins Team Kinnikuman in Ataru's place because he was going to like surrender and like join Kinnikuman. But this guy called the Samurai.
So why was he there at the beginning?
To like thin the numbers, like so he could beat the other teams.
Oh, okay.
And also so he could like show Kinnikuman like the rest of the Muscle Spark.
Okay. And why is Ataru not the heir to the throne if he's older?
Kinnikuman's just the coolest dude, man.
It's because it's not going from royalty so much at this point. This is more of like the prophecy, like being laid out.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be that.
Okay. More or less, yeah. I know that a lot of stuff about Muscle Prophecy is like some of the manga stuff that the anime cuts out, which for me is good because I think the Muscle Prophecy is dumb.
Yeah.
But whatever.
It's kind of
the
like
burning pages.
The writer's saying this needs to happen at that point.
Yeah. They do eventually, like, in the next fight, they set up a decent ring with it where, like, all of the pages of every fighter in the thing is, like, over a fire tied to a string. So, like, one thing is, like, you can't leave anyone alone for any amount of time because they'll just go and, like, cut opponent team strings.
Yeah. By the way, who's the samurai here? Is that what you're about to get to?
Yeah, the samurai catches the ashes of Ataru's page, and he's like, all right, I'm inheriting this will. I'm going to go help Kinnikuman.
Ha!
And so we get to the final fight, Team Kinnikuman versus Team Super Phoenix.
Wait, was the samurai the ninja?
No, the ninja is a different guy. He was involved with the Ashraman.
That was my confusion. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
no, the ninja was involved with the Ashraman fight with Satan Cross.
Yeah.
I don't remember how that part goes. He probably jobs. I don't really like the ninja. Which is weird because...
He's kind of a nothing character. Really.
He is, and Yuta Tamago like brings him back more often than they should. Like, he's in Nisei and Revival, too. I'm just not big on the character. They seem to like him. Whatever. Anyways, the final round. Team Kinnikuman versus Team Super Phoenix. So Team Kinnikuman, like in between rounds, they have like a day between rounds. Kinnikuman is like constantly like trying and practicing to like complete the muscle spark. Like him and like Terry Man are sparring a whole bunch, and he's like doing it to like mountains and stuff. And eventually we get to the match. We start with Kinnikuman versus Satan Cross. Very boring fight, and I hate it. They go on a board game where like you land, if you get like hit into certain panels, you can like get armor pieces or you'll get shocked. And it's basically a big toy commercial because when Kinnikuman gets like his completed armor, he's now an action figure. No, don't turn me into a marketable action figure. I honestly think maybe Yuta Tamago was getting tired of doing the series at this point if they're like doing stuff like that, because that's very sellout-y to me.
Yeah.
Or maybe they just maybe it was an editor like intervention thing.
Maybe
I don't know.
They just needed money.
But Ramen Man
Maybe.
versus Prisman.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Ramen Man versus Prisman. They're in a big, giant jungle gym, and Ramen Man does the Kowloon wall drop, which is like you like leg lock him and then you just like fall to the ground, sort of.
Yeah.
And it double KOs them. It shatters Prisman.
Again?
Yeah, again. I don't know. He gets better.
Well, the last time he just fell, so we don't really know.
He fell from very high up, and they clearly showed like parts of him breaking away.
Oh, okay.
So that happened, and Ramen Man and Prisman double KO, and now you have Geronimo shows up, by the way, versus Omega Man, and it turns out, it turns out Omega Man is actually from the Choujin graveyard, hired by the Choujin Enma, because there are a bunch of Choujin that escaped, and they gotta get him back. Specifically, the two Choujin he's after are Wars Man and Neptune Man.
Okay.
And so, and then he does this move where like his hand like wraps around, he like holds you upside down, and that's his Omega Catastrophe drop, and that's what he uses to kill Geronimo.
Okay.
Geronimo dies.
See you later.
Again.
See you later.
Our Native American representation.
And now they decide on some new rules for the finale of this whole match. But first, let's talk about the samurai, who is actually Neptune Man.
Hey!
Also, I added a picture of him when he was Tinka Man, sometimes translated as Quarrel Man.
Yeah. Okay, I remember him.
Yeah, because like his special move is like one half of a cross bomber, just a really powerful arm bar, which he calls the Quarrel Bomber. And it's actually based on like when Hulk Hogan was wrestling in Japan, he used a move called the Axe Bomber a lot. And it's literally just the same thing.
I mean, he's got his mustache. That's cool.
Well, yeah, he's very, very much.
He's straight up Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
But without the skullet.
Yeah. So he's like disguised as a samurai. He is the samurai. Cool. And yeah, like when he like when the samurai joins the team, like even though he is in disguise and like Robin Mask is just like, dude, Kinnikuman, that's totally Neptune Man.
Yeah.
And so now we get to the finale where all the remaining fighters get their muscle prophecy pages. Like I mentioned this a bit ago, where it's like hung above a flame and all the ropes are like tied to the ropes on the ring. So like you can like cut them and cause a page to fall in. And so we have a 3v3 of Kinnikuman, Robin Mask, and the Samurai versus Super Phoenix, Mammoth Man, and Omega Man. So the Samurai, Mammoth Man starts going after Robin Mask. Like he's immediately like going for the rope specifically to like burn Robin Mask's page, but the Samurai like intervenes and like hits him with like a cross bomber. It's really cool. Like he's like running towards the rope as fast as possible, and like the Samurai just comes in like, ugh, get out of here, brother. And then we have Mammoth Man versus Robin Mask, which is a big back and forth, and it's one of the best moments in the whole series. It's Robin Mask's best moment easily, where like Robin Mask uses an arrow staff. He uses the fire to like throw Mammoth Man in the air, and he's gonna do like his like tower bridge where he's gonna like land with like a slam in the tower bridge. But because Mammoth Man did cut the rope a little bit, his legs are fading away. So Kinnikuman and the Samurai like run in and catch Robin Mask at his like legs to like help him finish his slam. And so, but it's not enough to kill Mammoth Man, like because Robin Mask is still fading away, and like Mammoth Man is
just like crazy powerful.
Yes, and like basically Mammoth Man is like without legs, and like then Robin Mask's like arms start to fade, and he's like, well now you can't, because he was gonna like keep pulling with this tower bridge to try and snap Mammoth Man in half. But Mammoth Man is like, your arms are fading. Without arms, you cannot do the tower bridge. And Robin Mask is like, watch me. He flings himself sideways and uses the ropes as his arms for a tower bridge. Tower bridge. This not only like breaks the rope that causes Mammoth Man's page to fall into the fire, but it also just like snaps Mammoth Man's back. But unfortunately, Robin Mask is also fading away. And Mammoth Man just like laughs. He's like actually impressed. He's like, can't believe you did it, man. Way to go. And then he like fades away. And then like Robin Mask has a moment with Kinnikuman where he's just like, Kinnikuman, my only regret in all of this. And like Kinnikuman's like super beaten up. The voice acting is stellar in this scene. He's like, Robin. But like it's actually like really convincing. It's really good voice acting. And Robin Mask is like, my only regret is I will not be able to see you as King of Planet Kinniku.
Oh,
And then he fades away, and all that's left is like only his mask and his armor is left. And Kinnikuman just like picks them up and like cradles them. So next we have, some of the other like evil Choujin gods, like they all go into Super Phoenix because he's like their last bet. Because like they actually knew that these guys weren't the real princes. They just didn't want Kinnikuman on the throne because he'd be like the really cool good guy who would stop their shenanigans.
Yeah.
So they all pool their power in Super Phoenix. And that's terrible. Kinnikuman and Neptune Man fight Omega Man, which it goes a certain way. It's cool. It's a fun fight. But the most important part is that because Omega Man is from the Choujin graveyard, he can channel dead Choujin spirits and like turn into them. And so he uses this thing to look into Kinnikuman's mind and find the one Choujin that Kinnikuman truly like fears. And it's the only Choujin who ever beat him, Prince Kamehame. So Omega Man turns into Prince Kamehame and starts fighting Kinnikuman.
Heck yeah.
But Kamehame still kind of has his will, and he says, Kinnikuman, when I first taught you, you were a brutish fighter who could only use striking attacks. But I think you may have mastered the 48 killing moves, but there are 100 of Kamehame's secret techniques, and it's time to teach you through this fight Kamehame's 52 submission holds. And like he keeps on like doing them to Kinnikuman like while they're fighting, and Kinnikuman like intuits how to counter all the holds and like learn new ones as he's doing it. And then he eventually defeats Kamehame as Omega Man, and Kamehame is like, I have nothing left to teach you. You're ready.
Oh, man.
And in the same...
Right at the very end for that whole, like, student becomes the master kind of thing.
Yes.
That's nice.
Not only that, but if you'll remember, the Kinniku Buster was originally described as the culmination of the 48 killing moves, and now that he knows all 100 techniques, he's going to do the muscle spark.
Oh,
So Kinnikuman versus Super Phoenix. Choujin also adds his power to Phoenix, because like all the bad guys are behind him.
Yeah.
Kinnikuman it turns out all 3 of the like moves are actually one move. So Kinnikuman starts with like the Muscle Revenger, headbutt, like constantly like
it's
headbutting.
like a combo, like all together.
He's like bouncing Super Phoenix upwards. Then he goes up and like gets on him and does the first half of the spark, which is kind of what the Inferno was. Mm-hmm. And then like he turns around and like stretches his back and like leans back like this. Oh wait, I do that. Yeah, and he catches him in the complete.
He catches his arm because his shoulder's back from his leg.
That's the first half. That's the first half.
Okay.
I don't know if I include the second half. I might have forgotten. But the quote, as it goes, is, for love, friendship, and justice, the 70 million power muscle spark! And as he's falling down, he sees like the ghosts of like all the guys who died in the arc. He's like, Geronimo, bro, Robin, Neptune Man. Neptune Man dies during the fight with Omega Man, by the way. And then like he just like, this long fight is finally over! And he slams into the mat. And then he's the king.
Yeah!
Kinnikuman! We all celebrate, and it's awesome. King Muscle!
Who's that thought next to him?
That's Mark. Okay, so the anime for some reason...
And like a true king, I'm going to marry this 15-year-old.
No, she's an adult.
I know, she just looks young in the picture.
Yeah, so... In the anime, they really sideline Bibinba and like push Mari as the main love interest, which is weird because Bibinba is in the Scramble for the Throne anime. They just kind of make her Phoenix's love interest for some reason. But like in the original, he marries Bibinba. And it ends like that. But I got this from the anime because
it's in color.
Yeah,
it's really pretty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kinnikuman is now the king of planet Kinniku. He's great. All of his friends are behind him. You can see, Terry Man and Natsuko get married. They're together.
I see Sneak Gator back there. I think.
No?
No.
Where?
That's
That's Atlantis.
No, Atlantis isn't in that either.
What? Well, who's the green guy behind his dad?
Green Mohawk. Oh,
That's Ataru.
Oh,
When Kinnikuman wins, I think he face flashes the muscle prophecy itself, and it brings back everyone who's page burned or something. He's you can see Robin Mask and,
There's
Jordan
no
Lord.
permanence. I love it.
No,
Everybody's alive.
that is actually the plot of the first arc of the revival series. Is one character, I won't spoil who, is actually just pissed that death does not stick in Kinnikuman at all, and he goes to the Choujin graveyard and just starts killing everyone.
He's fed up with it.
I'm tired of all this retconning.
It's really funny. The green
Yeah,
guy
no,
is-
I see now. That's the soldier Kinniku.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kinnikuman soldier. So, now that the story's over, let's talk about what other Kinnikuman that is. And I'm also going to quickly go through all the arcs and say what I think the best fight in each wrestling arc is. 20th Choujin Olympics, honestly going to give it to Brocken Man versus Ramen Man. That's such an awesome fight, and it's what made the series click for me. Let's see, after that, American Tour arc, I'm going to give it to Kinnikuman versus Jesse Mavia. The whole arc with Kamehame, all of that was more interesting than the WSC stuff for me.
Yeah.
21st Choujin Olympics, Brocken Jr. and Ramen Man. Though honestly, also Kinnikuman versus Warsman, just for the unveiling of the Kinniku Buster is really cool. Devil Choujin arc, Robin Mask versus Warsman. I'm going to give it to that one.
Okay.
But also again, all the final fights are really good. Devil Knight arc, Terry Man versus Ashura Man, no contest. Dream Choujin Tag, honestly, there is nothing better than the final fight. The Muscle Brothers versus the Hell Missionaries, fantastic. I don't think I did it justice, honestly, because it's so long and there's so many beats to hit. And finally, Scramble for the Throne, Team Kinnikuman versus Team Zebra.
Yeah. Really? Okay.
Even though the versus Super Phoenix has some high points too, but I don't know. The ending of the Super Phoenix fight is the best part of the arc, but as a whole, I think the Zebra fight was better.
Okay.
But they're both good. So let's talk about the sequel series. In the early 2000s, we have what you probably are familiar with, if anything.
Yeah.
Kinnikuman Nisei, known in the West as Ultimate Muscle, the Kinnikuman Legacy. It stars Kinnikuman's son, Montaro. It's a joke about, so Ultraman in the Ultraman series has a son called Ultraman Taro.
The whole
so
series,
so
the whole series is just made to crap on Ultraman.
So Kinnikuman's son is Kinniku Montaro.
Uh-huh.
And all of his layabout friends who do nothing but job. So they got a little better at choreographing fights. But the problem is there are no stakes. Everyone who is not Kinniku Montaro or Kevin Mask is a jobber.
Yeah.
So if I have to recommend you read one fight, it's going to be Montaro versus Kevin Mask. It also carries a lot of I mentioned the Robin family honor earlier, and how Robin had his mask damaged. That arc is continued in the Montaro versus Kevin fight. And it's really cool. Next we have the 2011 Revival series. It is my favorite Battle Shonen arc ever. It really is just the most fun I've had reading shonen manga. It is amazing. It's very lore heavy. It's a lot of really good retcons explaining how the world in Kinnikuman works, how all these systems work. It's really cool. All the fights are insanely well done, and it's just a blast. And the fight I'm going to recommend from this series is actually the first fight of the arc. The last two fights of the Perfect Origin arc are probably my favorite, but you need the context from the rest of the arc to make it stick.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to recommend the first fight of that arc, Terry Man versus Max
You're going to
Raven.
recommend we read the whole damn thing, is what you're saying.
Yes, I want this to be a jumping on point. Start reading Terry Man versus Max Radial, and then you'll be hooked and read the rest of the Perfect Origin arc. Because it's so good! And so, hopefully, I have taught you why Kinnikuman is the best manime, battle shonen, superhero, big bad boys from outer space wrestling series ever. And I hope you now know the difference between the Virgin Saiyajin and the Chad Choujin. Thank you for coming to the Kinnikuman Lecture! Alright, that's it.